douche, another runner in the night, blinded by the light. Wrapped up like a douche, another runner in the night, blinded by the light. Wrapped up like a douche, another runner in the night, blinded by the light. Some silicone sister with a manager mister told me I got what it takes. She said I'll turn you on sun into something strong, play the song with the funky break. And go-kart Mozart was checking out the weather chart, see if it was safe outside. And little early birdie came by in his curly whirly and asked me if I needed a ride. Wrapped up like a douche, another runner in the night, blinded by the light. She got down, but she never got tight. She's gonna make it to the night. She's gonna make it through. Another runner in the night, blinded by the light. Wrapped up like a douche, another runner in the night, blinded by the light. Wrapped up like a douche, another runner in the night, blinded by the light. Wrapped up like a douche, another runner in the night, blinded by the light. Wrapped up like a douche, another runner in the night, blinded by the light. Wrapped up like a douche. difficult touch is gonna make it through the night.
Looking all around me, I said everywhere I looked, I saw a rain. That it wasn't nothing else. It wasn't your tears. It felt to me like the rain. Something grabbed a hold of me. Felt to me, oh, yeah, I wanna take. I wanna do you know what I felt like? I didn't feel just like it. I said, just because I got to have it, does it almost want to go and have me, baby? No. I said it just can't be. Never, 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 never. Here you go today, and honey, I wanted to hold it. I wanted to love you for so long. But you know that's all I ever wanted, man. Was to just hold on to your love. I wasn't gonna hurt you. I said, no, this can't. Whoa, honey, this can't be right. No. Honey, this can't be. No. Never, babe. I'm hoping you can tell me. Oh, I said sometimes that I got to know why. And sometimes, babe, I said I feel that I need to know why. Tell me if I want to ask you now. I said, tell me if I want to lean on. I said, if I want to put my arm around. I said, I want a little help sometimes. I need a little help sometimes. Baby, yeah. Wow. Baby, yeah. I said, I got to know why. Say, why does it want to pull me down, baby? I said, does it want to drag me around? Feels to me just like a ball. I said, da-da-da-da-da, it was a ball. Oh, and a chain. Yeah.
stop, and I'm so strung out. I'm high as a kite, I just might stop to check you out. And then when I'm out walking, I stop, and I'm so strung out. And I'm high as a kite, I just might stop to check you out. Body and beats, I stain my sheets. I don't even know why. My girlfriend, she's at the end. She is starting to cry when I'm walking. Stop, and I'm so strung out. I'm high as a kite. I just might stop to check you out. Let me go on, like I blister in that song. Let me go on. Big hands, I know you're the
anti-establishment as I can possibly get.
Strange vibration rising out from the heart of Thanks for all you shown us. This is how we feel. Come sit next to me, pour yourself some tea. Just like Grandma made when couldn't find sleep. Things were better then, once but never again. We've all left the den and typewriting. A choo-choo train left right on time. A ticket costs only your mind. The driver said, hey man, we go all the way. Of course we were willing to pay. My name is Wakefield. Got a box full of your toys. They're fresh out of batteries. But you're still making noise, making the noise. Tell me what to do. Now the tank is dry. Now this wheel is flat. And you know what else? Guess what I received in the mail today? Words of deep concern from an
in color, she dreams in red. Can't find a better man. Can't find a better man. Can't find a better man. There's no one else who needs to know, she tells herself. Memories back when she was smooth and strong and waiting for the world to come along. I swear she'd do it, now she swears it's gold.
It was really touching, and it was incredible to be around all the John, Pete, and Roger from The Who, and
I bought them for you. Graceless lady, you know You know I can't let you slide through my hands. Wild horses couldn't drag me away. Wild horses couldn't drag me away. I watched you suffer a dull aching pain. Now you decided to show me the same. No sweet pain exists. Oh, off stage lines could make me feel bitter or treat you unkind. Wild horses couldn't drag me away. Wild horses couldn't drag me away. I know I've dreamed you a sin and a lie. I have my freedom, but I don't have much time. Faith has been broken. Tears must be cried. Let's do some living after we die. Wild horses couldn't drag me away. Wild horses
Zed's dead, baby.
I never would have dreamed in a million years I'd see so many motherfucking people who feel like me, who share the same views and the same exact beliefs. It's like a fucking army marching back on me. So many lives I touched, so much anger aimed in no particular direction. Just sprays and sprays, straight through your radio waves. It plays and plays, till it stays stuck in your head for days and days. For days and days. Who would have thought standing in despair, bleaching my hair with some peroxide, reaching for a t-shirt to wear that I would catapult to the forefront of rap like this. Knock it up and take my words and have an impact like this. I must have struck a chord with somebody up in the office, cause Congress keep telling me I ain't causing nothing but problems, and now they're saying I'm in trouble with the government. I'm loving it, I shouldn't shit on my life. How many people are proud to be citizens of this beautiful country of ours? The stripes and the stars for the rights that men have died for to protect. The women and men who have broke their necks for the freedom of speech. The United States government is sworn to uphold.
I want everybody to listen to the words of the song.
How many people are proud to be citizens of this beautiful country of ours? We love you, we love you. 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 See, the problem is I speak to suburban kids who otherwise would've never knew these words exist. Mine probably would've never gave two squirts of piss till I created so much motherfucking turbulence. Sway out the tube right into your living rooms. I came and kids flipped when they knew I was produced by Dre. That's all it took, and they were instantly hooked right in. And they connected with me too because I look like them. That's why I put my lyrics up under this microscope, searching with a fine tooth comb. It's like this rope waiting to choke, saying it around my throat, watching me while I write this like I don't like it. No, lyrics, constant controversy, spots is working round the clock to try to stop my controversy journey. Hip hop was never a problem in Harlem, moment in Boston, after Republic of Office of God is starting to blossom. So now I'm casting the flag on these activists when they ragging, acting like I'm the first rapper to snag a bitch and say faggot shit. Just look at me like I'm your closest pal and poster child. How many people are proud to be citizens of this beautiful country of ours? The stripes and the stars for the rights that men have died for to protect. The women and men who have broke their necks for the freedom of speech. The United States government is sworn to
I
uphold.
want everybody to listen to the words
So
of the
we're
song.
told.
Nights in white satin, never reaching the end. Letters I've written, never meaning to send.
Take me now, baby, here as I am. Pull me close and try and understand. Desire is hunger, is the fire I breathe. Love is a banquet on which we feed. Come on now, try and understand the way I feel under your command. Take my hand as the sun descends. They cannot you now, cannot you now, cannot you now. Because the night belongs to lovers. Because the night belongs to us. Because the night belongs to lovers. Because the night belongs to us. Have I doubt, baby, when I'm alone? Love is a ring, a telephone. Love is an angel disguised as lust. We're in our beds until the morning comes. Come on now, try and understand the way I feel under your command. Take my hand as the sun descends. They cannot you now, cannot you now, cannot you
This is Adam Kokesh, and you're listening to iCannabis Radio.
You're listening to iCannabisRadio.com.
Welcome to American Weed Realm Radio. I'm Josh Stanley, your host. I'm here with my brother Jesse, the Mustache Man.
Still rocking it.
And we got Chris Stubbs here to start the show out with us, and Jennifer Murray for Science Corner.
Hello.
Howdy.
Missed you guys last week, but I understand Jesse did one heck of a job hosting the show.
He did.
Very good,
Thank
Jess.
You,
Thank you for that. It's good to have a week off. I'm back and a little bit rested. We have a great show tonight planned for everybody. We have a lot of questions, and as always, I want to thank Rebecca Brown and the CBD group. Actually, it has a new name
it's different.
now. It's called
Pediatric
Cannabis Therapy.
Pediatric Cannabis Therapy.
Yes.
And I want to thank you guys. You send in such wonderful questions, and so we're going to jump into it because tonight we're not going to have, as usual, we're not going to have a whole lot of time to fit everything in. We've got some very, very special guests on the show this evening. We're going to be calling and talking to Dennis Perrone. Dennis Perrone, I think, if you don't know who he is a legend in his own right. Helped to pass the first proposition, actually co-authored the first proposition in California. Amazing gay rights activist and leader. Just an amazing human being in general. And then we have a very special guest, Julia Rose. And I don't know if anybody's heard of Peter's page, but it's Peter McWilliams. And Peter passed away back in 2000 without being able to have access to his medicine. Really a compelling story. But Peter lives on through Peter's page and through Julia Rose, and the work that she's done has just been incredible. Yeah. And we want to thank her for that. We're going to be very honored to have her on the show. So we'll talk to Dennis, and then we'll talk to Julia. I do have some bad news, however, about tonight's show. Dr. Shackelford, Ask Dr. Shack, will not be in the house tonight. He has some issues that he needed to deal with, and we certainly wish him the best.
But we did bring in the love doctor, Chris Stubbs. He'll be answering all your love questions.
Oh, yeah.
7:30 to 8, so.
The love
Scientific
doctor.
love.
Scientific
Science
love. So speaking of science, let's jump right into the nerdery here. And you know,
Speak for yourself.
A lot of these questions are... people that have heard these questions before, some of those questions are similar, but that's okay. You know, the more and more people that continue to join this group, and this pediatric children's group is really, really growing, and that's exciting and fantastic to see. We're getting questions all the way from New Zealand.
Wow.
Yeah.
New Zealand.
New Zealand. We got questions from Scotland.
Bless you.
Sorry.
Bless you, Jen.
Woo.
Very
you must be allergic to that weenie dog that was in you this week.
Yeah, that's always validating to see that come in from all around the world. I mean, this stuff travels really fast, and that's something that I've acknowledged over the years. It's incredible, you know?
It
you
is.
can make a dent real quick.
It's so, you know, just
That's
to bring that up, it's so cool because, you know, American Weed on National Geographic is airing all over Europe and Australia, New Zealand, and places like that, and we're getting all kinds of this fan mail and support from all over the planet. So what we've decided to do with the show in the next few weeks, we're going to start having people call in. We have a mother of a Dravet child in New Zealand who's at her wit's end, and just a precious woman. And of course, it's the middle of the night there, but she said, I'm happy to stay up and call in and talk about how she can't get her daughter the meds. And if she comes over here, how do we make her a Colorado resident? Is Dravet syndrome, is cancer, is Parkinson's, is MS, are all these diseases, are they different in a place that doesn't have medical marijuana? Certainly not. And so we tend to think of ourselves sometimes in a micro community in Colorado, and then you know, we're fenced in, and we feel like just because we're so lucky to have laws like this and be able to help the sick through cannabis treatment, we don't even look at the United States as a whole sometimes. And then we step back even further, and we get a 40,000 foot view of the world. Yeah. And the world is looking at this, and they're looking to us right now to set these examples. So I'm really excited that we're getting this world coverage. So let's move into to the first questions here.
Certainly.
Let's see, and forgive me because some of these questions may have been for Dr. Shackelford. We will get to those next week when he's with us. Okay, let's see. Here's a question, Science Corner. Can extraction method affect ratios? If not, then how can a clone from a mother plant with 3-to-1 CBD to THC genetics be altered to test at 1.5 to 1? But that was tested after it was made into oil.
Right.
So, can for the first question, can extraction method affect ratios?
I actually spoke with her about this this week a little bit, and the method itself, the solvent that you choose, a lot of the commonly used solvents have very similar extraction efficiencies, and the efficiency itself is not going to be, that's an overall measure of how much you pulled off the plant, how much was left, okay? So the ratio there doesn't change, but the part of the plant that you're using can change that slightly. So if you get the cola tested and you do the extraction from that cola, and you decarboxylate it, there's going to be some bit of change there, but it's representative of the test that you had before. If you test the cola and then do a full plant extraction with trim, sugar leaf, stems, bud, everything together, all homogeneously mixed, that's going to change the ratio. And I've got limited data on this from over the years, but that's what I've seen, because the stems and leaves, they all have different production ratios, and so that will alter it by weight percentage slightly. But time of harvest has an effect as well, and that's something I discussed with her.
What are all the different things that kind of affect the ratios?
That's
time of harvest.
That's one of it. The source material that you use. Okay, so if you ground everything up and had that tested before the extraction and then the oil itself, that's going to be more in line than if you picked any single part and expected the final oil of the whole plant. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
it does.
Okay,
so when we test flour, and then they make oil out of that, but aren't the ratios usually pretty constant?
That's what I'm saying. They're unchanged. But if you take a bunch of different parts of a plant or a bunch of plants themselves, you're talking about a 0.5 gram sample that we take into the lab.
Right.
If you look at 20 pounds, plant to plant, that ratio is going to vary. And I guarantee you, if you sampled the plant in all those different places, you will find varying ratios. Now, it's not going to change from 3-to-1 to 9-to-1, but something like 1.5 to 1 to 3-to-1, that's definitely feasible. Time to harvest. So if you let something go a lot longer versus cutting something really early,
you want it to cure.
That's one part, is just time at harvest, and then how long you let it cure afterwards can have a decarboxylation effect, basically. The plants that go for 3 to 4 to 5 week cure, which is done, we tend to see upwards of 5% delta 9, which in fresh cuts you see minimal, 1%, 1.2, 1.5. So those are some of the factors that can go into that. In the lab's stringency guidelines and what their error ranges are play a role too. If their calibration curve for one cannabinoid is not as strong or hasn't been recalibrated versus another one, the data might wobble a bit more. GC
and that was tested on a GC.
Exactly.
GC is gas chromatograph.
Right, and using gas chromatography, partially decarboxylates the sample. If the chemist knows what's going on, they'll know what that ratio is, and they'll be adding a protective group or derivatizing to prevent that from occurring, and can measure everything. But that's rarely done, and in my experience, the numbers wobble a lot more. So you can see, if you combine those things, you can see how you can arrive at this.
Certainly a 3 down to a 1.5.
Yeah.
But and her other question was did I waste my money? At least you have some information. It might not be the best, but at least you know the ratio's there. And, hopefully moving forward, you can treat the plant and the extraction process as,
you can never have enough information
of what you
too.
tested. Exactly.
Yeah.
So.
I hope that answers that question.
Actually,
a couple of people asked a very similar question, so it just kind of rolled that into one, so we won't get into the other one. Another question that had come up and keeps coming up, and I'm even curious. I'm curious to hear about this. Okay, we have an oil. Let's use Little Charlotte for example. Okay, Dravet syndrome patient. Our first most precious. I gotta say it, most precious little girl on the planet.
Most definitely.
we have a plant and ratio that obviously we change the ratios up a little bit because it's like the weightlifting. You don't do the same routine every time.
Right.
But we have a plant that works, especially good for her. And I've been asked by several people in the CBD group and outside of this, okay, that you have this particular genetic. Now we do our best to keep that genetic isolated, to keep genetic drift or any of that from happening to our plants because it's a highly adaptable plant.
But remember how long that it's taken you to get the genetics you have.
It took me 2 years. It took me 2 years.
So people have to understand that.
And that's a great point.
Yeah.
That's actually a great point.
This
people
is a
just say, "Well, can't I just
coming.
breed a CBD plant?" And I go,
Right.
"Well, it took me 2 years of a
That's
lot
right.
of trial and a lot of error."
Right.
And more error than anything else,
Well, and you just don't know what's in the genetic cassettes.
But people want to know how do you keep that exact genetic? How do you keep that copied? And the answer I've been giving people is really you don't. I mean, unless you can get into the realm, which is what I want you guys to talk about, of tissue culture.
Yeah, and that's something that's out there. It's a dream of mine. I've got some intellectual property around that I've been working on for years. But there's several groups that have engaged other plants and stuff like this. And, the reality is it's like humans. They age, and you cannot keep a strain on forever. The mother gets tired. The babies get tired. There are ways to freeze that in time and go back to that stock. But as we know it today, it's nearly impossible for us to do that. And so,
So wouldn't you would use different genetics and you would mix concentrates and then you would make standard ratio concentrates?
I mean, that's one of the end products, but his question's really geared towards the plants.
Right, but ultimately that's how we can get around the fluctuation in the plant is by mixing different ratios of oil. If you have a high THC oil, you mix it with a high CBD oil and you go from there.
Right.
That's what I'm talking about, yeah.
Before we had you guys, okay, the real and only lab in Colorado, before we did have you, we would run into problems all the time. If we would, let's say we'd lose a genetic would get a disease, but a cancer patient relied on this particular strain. We never had anything to back that up. And now that we have you, we're able to go in and say, okay, these are the levels that are working for you,
and formulate.
Right, and formulate. Yeah,
well,
that's the word I was looking for.
The other thing that's wise is to have somebody in there that knows botany, knows plants. I mean, that's rare still.
Yes.
To have somebody that knows.
Of course, every grower on the history of the planet, they grow the best medicine.
They've been growing for 20 years, and it's all kosher. I've been growing since the day that Amendment 20 passed, and that's all the longer I've been growing.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, the reality is that there are... there are a reason that you can find an AK-47 and that's an AK-47, or an R4 is an R4, because somebody has taken the time to selectively breed that and backbreed it and balance those chromosomes so that you have a much higher rate of cracking seeds and finding that same or very similar strain.
Right.
Sagamartha's Flow, for example, is one of my favorites, has been for years, and you can, there's tons of it all over the state, and it is so similar that I can tell immediately that's Sagamartha's, and it's not Shorts, and those guys have taken a long time, and I know some breeders in the state that do the same thing. I mean, they are hermits. They do not want to be involved in this large-scale stuff for the most part. They'll do some consulting. They're under their own guise, but they've taken a lot of time to ensure those genetics, and that's the other way around it. Most people, the first, second generation cross, you end up with a wash of seeds that comes out of those, and you'll tend to go through a laborious process of selection and profiling, and then grow up those adults, maybe keep moms around for a bit, clone off of them, and you're done.
Yeah.
And so it's definitely a quagmire, but it can be done.
It can be done.
And it takes generations to do it.
And I want to talk to you about some of your ideas on tissue cultures, because that's really where we need to move in with this, because this genetic that we have right here, I mean, is even as good as we can take care of it, it's not going to last forever.
Yeah.
And it has to last forever.
Right.
This is Charlotte's lifeline. These are a lot of these children's lifeline, especially the high CBDs. So as we move into that, you'll keep us posted. But
Just a thought on that. There's a lot of publications out there on plant tissue culture, and it's very doable. And you can go. It's laborious. It can be expensive. You need to have sterile conditions. I mean, it's really got to be a dedicated project, and you've got to have a couple of people on it at all times, because the propensity for those to mold and screw up along the way is huge. And so,
but don't you think it's the future though?
It's completely the future. I mean, you got to think about the giant seed bank that's going on in what was it, Greenland?
Yeah, and Sweden as well.
In Sweden, yeah, and they're just stockpiling all this stuff, and part of it involves tissue culture. There are definitely legitimate ways to do it, and it is the future of what's going on in a lot of cases. But you look at a company like GW Pharmaceuticals; they've been working on this stuff for the last, upwards of 15 years, and they've not only stabilized specific strains and have activated the minor cannabinoid genetic cassettes. Along with that comes terpenoid and flavonoid cassettes too. A lot of the high CBD strains smell and look like turd because they've been selected against. Whereas the Delta 9 or the THC acid strong strains have carried that cassette with them. But it's not until you go back in genetic history and get out of the gene pool with all these modern medical strains that you start to see the minor cannabinoid ratios, and that's what they've done. And they've stabilized those and can genetically monitor what's going on, and then their tissue banks and all that follows right along suit. So if you're gonna make it, in for the long haul, you kind of got to use all these pieces and parts of biotechnology to their greatest degree, or else you're not going to hit it.
Well, and that's the difference, between medical cannabis and recreational cannabis. Because recreational, what are you doing? You're constantly breeding for the higher THC. You don't really care about your flux or your change.
Or ratios.
Or ratios.
Or other cannabinoids.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And for what we have to do, I mean, this is... you mentioned long haul. We're in it for the long haul.
Yeah.
These patients, they rely on it. They need it.
Well,
and people like in Michigan, for example, Rebecca and these folks, they don't have you guys.
Right.
And we always have to remember that because, and I don't want to sound disingenuous. I don't want to sound, when I say this, I hope the listeners here understand what I'm saying. But I have to believe that with the monitoring, the level and the ratios that we're giving, and I use Charlotte as an example a lot, but that we give Charlotte and the success that she's having with 90% of her seizures gone. There other states, other people that are trying the CBDs and trying their own ratios, they're on their own, and that may be why they're not experiencing such incredible benefits, which I find so unfortunate.
It is. And that's the reality of this. I mean, we're very fortunate to be where we're at, and we can translate a lot of that information. But I'm at a loss because there's only so much you can do. And
there is.
If you, it's access will come.
As long as we keep spreading the word
and
keep educating people.
It will. It's coming. I think about it a lot, and I know Jesse, you and I talk about this too because we get these emails all the time from these parents, like the one I got.
They're desperate
today from the woman in New Zealand saying, my daughter is dying,
right,
and I can't do anything about it. She couldn't even, she can't put her on a plane. It has to be a special medical situation because of the amount of seizures that this little girl has. And it's, like, again, Dravet syndrome, cancer is the same in New Zealand as it is in the United States. And access, it just breaks my heart. So hopefully one day. Now we're just dreaming. No. So let's not be sad. Let's get on to the next question. This comes from Kim, and Kim, I want to thank you for your question. Kim is in Canada, so that's
great.
Offshore
Hello,
question.
Canada.
Yeah.
She said, I'd like to find out about various extraction methods you've tried. I'm up in Canada, and I'm growing for 2 cancer patients. I'd like to try a more safe extraction method. What method do you suggest for good, clean extraction with safety as a priority? You guys are terrific. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Kim.
Thank you, Kim.
Thank you.
Well, this is something we've visited a couple of times now, and you know, especially with children in the home, but regardless, I think a grain alcohol, ethanol, is the best extraction method. There's no adulterants in that like there are in rubbing alcohols and other solvents that are used to make you smell and pick up on a spill or a leak. And so, you know, when you go to any of the very volatile chemicals like butane or propane, you've got explosive risk right away when you're doing the purge step, when you're evaporating the solvent, and that's the biggest risk there. And that's the biggest risk with any of it. Even with ethanol, you know, when you're doing your cleanup steps, if you have a big vat with a lot of surface area to volume ratio, like I've talked about, you can evaporate that outside in the sun, and, you know, within 24 hours, 48 hours, you've got really close to where you want to be. You don't need to sit there and boil it on your stove. You know, get it outside, away from everybody, and let it do its thing. That's the safest way I can recommend anybody does it. Otherwise, you just don't know what's going on. You know, you don't know how much butane you have in there, or propane you have in there, or hexanes. All those have a secondary health risk because your body can't process those molecules. Ethanol, if you spill some on you or gobble a bunch up, you'll be drunk, and that's about it. You know, and that is, you know, obviously toxic, but it's all the adulterants in those molecules or in those chemicals and solvents that aren't USP or chemically pure that are, you know, a secondary source of a health risk. So ethanol all the way.
Unless you know what
Everclear.
you're doing, yeah, it's food grade Everclear.
I do have another question.
Go for it.
Someone asked me today about their extraction methods, and they're doing just a little bit, but they were talking, and I didn't have the answer for this, but they said, you know, isopropyl is so much cheaper than Everclear.
But again, it's got the adulterants.
Yeah, it's got the,
And it's used topically, but your body cannot process that. It's like methanol. Methanol is even more dangerous. You will go blind. You know, there's a reason why they put that stuff in there. So it's not abused. And I mean, bless their heart, but homeless people, that's a huge problem. They're drinking methanol and isopropanol, and your body cannot process that. It's much more toxic.
Is that right?
Yeah. You'll go blind. You can't see.
It's kind of like what Mom said. If you keep doing that, Jesse, you're going to go blind.
Well, and that's a problem with some moonshines,
That's something
too.
else, Josh.
You can make those other... I just caught that.
Mom had to keep reminding Jesse all his life.
Right.
Jesse, you're going to go blind, son.
Get out of your room.
Yeah.
Get out of there.
One arm's stronger than the other.
Yeah, he's like, but I got diarrhea. No, you don't. Get out of there.
But
10
yeah,
more
I mean,
kids need to use that bathroom.
A lot of those solvents are really dangerous, and there's ways to do it. There's a couple of extractors out there that you can, you know, use in the home. People use them for making colognes and flowers and essences and all that kind of stuff that can be used for this purpose, but they use gases.
Oh,
and you can, you know what, more and more companies now are building extraction machines. So CO2 extraction. So more and more of those are being readily available. So, and small scale and large scale extraction machines. So
what are your thoughts on CO2 extraction? I mean, I know there's a few machines out there, some, you know,
well, they haven't brought it down on a small scale. They're all like really huge, and they start at 15,000.
It's like a kilogram column,
right?
And
so
15-20K gets you into it, but
once they bring that
clean.
down, they're
clean. That's the question.
Your next
CO2.
best is CO2.
That's the cleanest way to do it.
The only unfortunate part is one of the people that I know that has one.
Yeah,
I wouldn't trust.
Well, I'm just talking about people that can purchase it and do it at home. Like you can buy a butane temesium extraction device for $1,000, and that makes sense for people that are going to be creating medicine for their kids. I mean, that is not a big expense. We all know how much pharmaceuticals are.
Right.
So I'm
and
just
I think
saying,
Rebecca recently did that. Is that right? I think I saw in the group.
Did she?
I don't know if she actually got one or not,
but
that's something I passed along.
I think she just did some, and she was thrilled. She did great. Yeah. She said it was easier than she thought.
And that's a closed system, so it's it's recycling solvent. There's still an evaporation step, but you can put a transport solvent on the other end of it. So you put a little Everclear in the vessel. It does the extraction. and you purge the butane back into the original canister, whatever gas you're using, and your oil's stuck in the Everclear. So you then pour that out and do the evaporation steps.
Yeah, so there's so many things.
So there's quite a few, but you got to make sure you talk. If you're in a medical state, some of those states still have laws against using solvents and extractions and concentrates. So you just, it's all illegal on some level. You got to pick your poison and do what you need to do to save your lives.
If your kids is sick, you got to do what you got to do. So if you're interested in any of those that I talked about, just contact me. Jennifer@canlabs.com. GENIFER@CANNLABS.com, and I'll try to get you out as much information on what I know and what we have here in Colorado.
Another question, real quick. I want to get this in.
For sure.
When you do your test, can you tell what extraction method they do?
Just from physical.
He's really good at that.
Yeah,
actually.
from a physical assay, I mean, I've seen so many things. I can tell. There's only
the color of the oil.
Yeah, the color of the oil is huge. The smell, I can. It's not that there's a huge amount of residual solvent, but that coupled with the terpene and flavonoid profile and the cannabinoids, you can tell what's been done. Sometimes I get tricked on it, but I can tell if it's butane versus propane versus CO2 versus ethanol versus isopropyl. Now, cleanup steps that they do after that can definitely throw me through a loop here and there. And it depends on what they've done. Some of them are totally odorless. Some of them smell really weird. And that's just because you've pulled some molecules and left others. But yeah, I can generally
He's
tell.
Very
what's
good
up.
at that, actually. And we really want to do quantitative analysis on it, but it's so expensive.
It's our next step.
So expensive.
Well, and things we're talking about and we're going to be talking about, we have a long road ahead of us, guys.
Yeah, for sure.
And for you viewers out there and people watching, it's just we're just getting out of the gate here. It's exciting, and we think about how far along we are in Colorado, and we're still in the dark ages. And then think, isn't that crazy? But think about this. This is what blows my mind. This is like, going back into the 1700s or 1800s, where mothers in Michigan or any other state are having to do their own extractions at their house for their child who is extremely sick. What's wrong with us?
And they could go down to the pharmacy and get
Oh,
heroin.
yeah.
They can go down to the pharmacy and get opiates or benzos or whatever it is that they put these kids on.
Yeah.
And they're sitting in their kitchen making a medicine that's saving their kid's life. And all the while, they could face prison time for it. That lights my wick.
In 100 years, we will look back at this, and it will be the Salem witch trials
So
of
you
our
think.
time.
Yeah, exactly.
And we'll be like, I can't believe we're doing this. The same way now, you look back and you're like, wait, we were burning what? With who and how and why? Because of this, that, and the other thing?
Yeah,
The same way, we're going to be like,
true.
wait, we imprisoned how many people because they were smoking a plant?
Yeah.
But if that happens in 100 years, then what we're doing here isn't
Well,
worth it.
I'll be gone, thank
Remember,
God.
They have to
Where
keep
we're
those
at.
prisons full of nonviolent drug offenders to meet their budgets.
Yes,
for
they do.
publicly owned prison systems.
Well, we talked about this, and that makes money because
lot of
they
money.
send these
Don't get me
prisoners
wrong.
out, and they bill them
Yeah.
out at $8 to $15 an hour, and those prisoners get 30 cents for their release stipend. And it's traded on the New York Stock Exchange. It's legalized slavery, folks. And then we're heading into a situation. Think about this. Okay, Obama has been no walk in the park. More raids and arrests for medical marijuana patients and distributors than two terms of George Bush. Okay,
Which is flabbergasting.
Which it blows my mind. Okay,
Absolutely flabbergasted.
but then what? Well, okay, but then let's look at the alternative. So we're seriously in the year 2012 looking at potentially voting a man in that wears magic underwear and believes Jesus partied with the Indians.
Yeah, I was raised Mormon,
Seriously?
bro.
Hey, I know you were. We've had that.
But I don't wear the underwear.
Yeah, you can't wear those magic undies in the studio. They're not going to save you. And I have a lot of friends who were raised Mormon, but we're seriously
ridiculous.
thinking about him
I'm not
leading the
thinking
free
about it.
world. Okay, good.
Yeah.
The minute he gets elected, I'm on the first train out.
Can I talk about donating blood, though?
Please. Yeah, we just have 1 minute.
Since we're talking about giving. The cannabis community is donating blood from the 17th, which is today, until the 31st at any Bonfils blood center. And if you please could go donate blood and give the code 7165 so they know that it's part of the cannabis community. It's part of, what we can do to give back. So, and that I went to and gave blood today. So please do that.
Yes, that's very important for the cannabis community to go out and educate and continue to be leaders in the community. We have to show up. We've got to show people that we're socially responsible. That's all the time we have right now for Science Corner. We're going to take a break. I want to thank you guys as usual. You guys are brilliant and wonderful, and my heroes. and all of you guys out there, keep sending your questions in. We're going to be back taking a break. We're going to come back with Dennis Perrone, folks. So we're really looking forward to that conversation. We'll see you here in just a few minutes.
Let's face it, rules and regulations are complicated, especially in the field of medical marijuana. Let Medical Marijuana 101 help you get through the compliance process. We can also explain to you your employment requirements, your employees, and your business. But our work doesn't stop there. Our experience in cultivation ranges from the design of grow rooms to the diagnosis and resolution of grow problems. Visit us at www.medicalmarijuana101.com or call 303-388-7706. That's 303-388-7706. Are you a runner? Are you a runner who supports marijuana legalization? Run on Grass is a group of athletes actively seeking to change our marijuana laws. We speak the truth about cannabis, bringing the message through our feet to new ears. Check out runongrass.com to find out more about us, our events, and how to join up or how to sponsor a runner. If you're in the Denver area, please join us for runs or start a group in your area. Running not your thing? Any sport can do it on grass. runongrass.com.
Hi, Josh Stanley here from National Geographic's American Weed. I'm here with my brothers, and we've just recently put together a foundation in Colorado to allow for cancer patients and other patients of debilitating conditions to be able to get a hold of cannabis-based oil that's just about free of charge. I've just about had it with seeing sick patients suffer needlessly just because they can't afford the proper medication. That's what the Realm of Caring is going to change. Visit therealmofcaring.com. The website will be complete and up on 4/20 of 2012. But until then, please contact any of us Stanley Brothers directly through email. You can get us at gratefuljosh@hotmail.com. Now come on, Colorado. We need to take care of each other. Join the Realm. That's realmofcaring.com. Thank you so much.
Are you a medical marijuana patient or interested in finding out how to become one? Contact Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. Conveniently located on Hamden and Tamarack in the Whole Foods parking lot behind Proof of the Pudding. Mile High Wellness offers a wide variety of edibles, hashes, and some of Colorado's top strains. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. 3525 South Tamarack, Suite 110, on the corner of Hamden and Tamarack. 720-382-8516. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern.
California's Attorney General has determined that the Repeal Cannabis Prohibition Act will save hundreds of millions of dollars from our overburdened justice system while creating hundreds of millions in new tax revenues from new sustainable jobs and industries that are friendly to our environment. But we can't do it without your help. We are seeking your donations to get on the ballot. Please go to repealcannabisprohibition.org to learn more about how you can help. It's time to end the war on cannabis and hemp in California. It's time to end the madness. Paid for by Sensible Californians Incorporated.
The law offices of Edson, Mayton, and Matz provide criminal defense, medical marijuana defense, and advice about setting up and running medical marijuana centers, optional premises cultivation operations, and infused product manufacturing businesses throughout Colorado. With offices in Denver and Aspen, we can offer assistance throughout the entire state of Colorado. Give us a call at 303-831-8188. That's 303-831-8188. Or visit us online at warrenedson.com.
Hi, I'm Josh Stanley.
And I'm Jesse Stanley.
Two of the brothers here from National Geographic's American Weed, and we'd like to invite you to come into our dispensaries in Colorado Springs. Come in for the most pure organic strain selection in Colorado. It's all hand-grown by the Stanley brothers, especially for our patients. So come in and visit us at our two locations, East Platte and West Colorado. And remember,
always be kind to each other.
The Clinic is proud to announce the third annual Clinic Charity Classic Golf Tournament benefiting the Colorado MS Society. The tournament will be held at City Park Golf Course this coming August 11th. There will be some incredible prizes, including an opportunity to win a trip for two to Hawaii. The trip includes airfare, 8 days, 7 nights at the Ritz-Carlton Kapalua, including 4 rounds of golf and $1,500 spending cash. Thanks to the incredible support of Weed Maps, Hetty Glass, Rocky Mountain Hydro, T. Meyer & Stitch, Dixie Elixir, and MMJPrinting.com, we're able to provide awareness to this incredibly difficult condition that so many Coloradans are suffering from. The event will be covered extensively by our favorite industry media outlets, Culture Magazine, The Hemp Connoisseur, Kush Magazine, and of course the amazing people at iCannabis Radio. Please register at thecliniccolorado.com or at any of our 6 convenient locations throughout the Denver metro area.
Welcome back to American Weed Realm Radio. I'm Josh Stanley here, your host, here with the mustache man, Jesse Stanley.
What's up?
I thought that Science Corner session went really, really well. And I wanted to touch just a little bit on, I wanted to bring something up real quick we didn't get a chance to get to, and we're going to get to it next week. And, you know, one of the first rules that we've always said about this show is that nothing is sacred in the realm. And I had a friend call me, a very close friend, an older medical marijuana patient.
Dennis.
Oh, you got Dennis? Yep. Okay, we'll jump to that in a minute. Dennis, how are you? This is Josh Stanley.
Hey, Josh, how you doing?
I'm doing good, sir. It's great to talk to you. It's an honor to speak with you, actually. Thank you
Thank you, Josh.
Thanks for agreeing to come on the show. How are you feeling? I heard you had the flu recently.
Yeah, I had the flu and I couldn't go to Washington, but Washington's not my favorite city anyway.
No.
I'm over it now.
You know, yeah, Dennis, I've followed you for so many years and been, you know, kind of like a hero. I was actually one of the co-authors of the first bill here and put the first political action committee together, and I kind of followed your footsteps, so I know what you mean. Washington, D.C., meeting with senators and congressmen. Some of them are great, but most of the time you want to take a shower, right?
Yeah, you really do. you know they're full of shit.
Every single one of them.
And they're telling one way to you, another way to the other. Guys, they're not true to themselves.
No, they do, and they do it at the same time. It baffles me. I mean, I've sat at the same table and watched a congressman say 3 different things. And
I know. Contradictory.
Well, yeah, and that's what let's get into that a little bit. I mean, you were the reason that the proposition passed in the 90s in California, and you had to. I had to go into a crash course because nobody else was going to put a political action committee together. And what most people don't understand is that I got called into the governor's office and our attorney general, who was a Nazi, and they said you either get a bill passed to define in statute what the Constitution in Colorado says, or we're going to come prosecute you the next day as soon as session's over. So we had really no choice. So we got pushed into politics. How did you do it?
We all are kind of pushed into it. You know, I wouldn't choose to do this. The reason I did it mainly because I got busted. I had to get out of it. I got busted. I can't tell you 22 times or something like that for marijuana. And every time I get busted, I have to mount a campaign to keep myself out of jail. Number one, and to change these laws. These laws are wrong. I always thought these laws are wrong, and they should have been changed 25 years ago.
Oh, 25 years ago marks actually it was 35 years ago marks the date that we found that cannabinoids had cancer-eating effects.
Yeah. That's when it should have been.
You bet it should have been, and it still should be, and that's why we keep fighting, and that's why, you know what, it started with folks like you. You guys started the revolution, and none of us are stopping, but you spurned all of us, you know, me, my brothers, you know, the shows and the radio shows and all the things that we do. It was really, a lot of it has to do with your leadership, so I want to thank you for that.
Well, I thank you for picking up the banner and keep going with it, because I couldn't do it all myself. I gave you hope. And that's what Harvey Milk taught me. Give people hope, and they'll go with it. But if they don't have hope, you're defeated. When I was doing Prop 215 and in Prop W, there was no hope around. People said, "Oh, these laws are never going to change. We're going to die with these laws." I said, "No, we don't have to. We can change it." And I just changed the rhetoric about marijuana. I called it what it was. It was medicine. It's been a medicine for thousands of years. It's government listed as a medicine. It is a medicine. If it's a medicine and helps people, well, why is it illegal? And I asked the question, and then people answered, it shouldn't be, and they came back. And I asked the question of ourselves, too. What are we doing with this? When we get high, people say, oh, I get high. But what is this high? What were you before you got high? Were you low? And so it begs the question. We have to question ourselves, too, our own motives. What are we doing? Why are we getting high? And what is going on in our lives? And but so I asked the question about not only the people, but all of the people who use it. Ask the question of what are you doing? And if you analyze it, you're medicine, you're relieving depression, you're feeling better. That is a reason. That's a medical reason. And people are getting Prozac. They're doing it to feel better, and that's a medical thing. So
this is where you and I are in total agreement. You said, what were you low? And I've heard you say before, well, in other words, you were depressed. It's just so anytime somebody uses it really is a medical reason. So people can try to, so no, it's just because I choose to use. Well, I tend to believe that it is a medical reason. But the funny thing about this is we haven't, the medical standards on this haven't even been set yet, Dennis. I mean, we're finding new things every day that this amazing plant works for. It's just
these amazing plants. Why couldn't they choose something else to be illegal? Because this plant is so amazing, and it has the potential to cure the planet of all its ills, oils, and not just depression, but everything. And it's how you see life. It causes self-analysis. And self-analysis is good because you think about what you're doing. You think about what you're doing, you're going to do the right thing. And that's what I think. The whole world could profit by this, doing the right thing. We smoke a joint, and we think, well, maybe it's not a good idea to bomb people. Maybe it's not a good idea to have those military. Maybe it's not a good idea to give the police a reign over the people. And so when we think, it's good. And I think if we replaced alcohol with marijuana, we would have a better planet and a better world.
Absolutely, we would. I mean, how many liver cirrhosis of the liver deaths do you see due to alcohol? How many driving, drunk? I mean, it's an absolute. It's like an. I call it Oppositeville, the United States, when we look at this. And you think about the medicinal aspects of it, sure, but look at the industrial aspects of it. Look at the biofuels. Look at the lumber that can be created. I mean, it's just it is a planet saver, and you don't need to rotate crops. I mean, it puts nitrogen in the soil. It's a God-given miracle, and we're not using it.
So we just have to learn how to talk to ourselves, and speak the language of the white people, the white folk. Speak their language. And it's a medicine. It always been some medicine, and people don't want to deprive people of medicine. They try to demonize this recreational marijuana. What is it? They can't even define it, but it is bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
There is no such thing as recreational. They just try to minimize our pain and our suffering, and they're trying to trivialize it.
You are so right, Dennis. And you know what? I have to say this, and I'm going to catch flack even for agreeing with you on this, but this is what I've been saying too for years. When we take our cancer patients, and Dennis, I don't know if you know about the Realm of Caring, but we have a nonprofit organization that my brothers and I donate the Phoenix Tears of the Oil to cancer patients, MS patients, Dravet syndrome kids for the non-psychoactive portions of the plant for free, and that's what our program does. And when we take our patients on an outing or something, and if we take them, for example, to a pot culture event like a Kush convention or something like that, it literally makes them cry when they look at this and see the rap music and all, and all that's fine. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's bad, but they literally look inward and go, goodness, I wouldn't be alive if it wasn't for this plant. And this is the way these people are celebrating it.
Well, I'm proud of you, Josh, for carrying on the message, and I'm really proud of you doing this, everything you're doing, and keep it up, because we need a lot more warriors like you and people like you, and you can see how it's going now. It's not going to turn and go backwards. We are going to see legalization in my lifetime. I can feel it. And I think even next term, Obama's going to reschedule it. He's almost forced to. I don't think he's going to do it out of benevolence. He's going to be forced to reschedule.
You think?
And Congress is ready. We had 190 votes in Congress to cut off the DEA funding. 190, 227 wins.
Wow.
So we have 190 congressmen from the states that have legalized medical marijuana, and it's just a question of time before we win. And so keep the hope alive, and don't let your guard down. We run the marathon. It's been a 40-year marathon for me, anyway. It's been 40 years, and for those 40 years, our people have really taken the bruising. We've taken the lumps. We've seen our people in jail. They forfeited their homes and their children, and it's just wrong what's happened to us. But we could be turning the corner, and just know it, and just be like 1 or 2 years, we'll be out of this terrible war, and we'll be victors, and history will be kind to us.
Hey, amen. Amen. I mirror that. You know, Dennis, I don't think you can put the genie back in the bottle, the water back in the dam. And what we've done is followed on your heels, and what I preach is not straight activism all the time, because, you know, that goes, you know, against misunderstanding. Instead, we educate. We become educators, and through the education process, we start to see people do complete 180s, you know, on this form of treatment.
Yourselves too. What were you doing when you educate yourself? What are you doing when you get high? What are you doing? And so when you answer that question without just trivializing it, you'll understand that it's very important, that your mission is very important, that not just getting high. Your mission is to raise consciousness around you. In the 60s, the first thing you did when I could turn on the pot is you turn your best friend on. Now, I'm on a mission, turn as many people on as we can. Turn as many people into pot as we can to raise the consciousness of the world.
Absolutely.
It's a quick consciousness fix.
Through education. You know, and
through pot.
Yeah, of course. Look at the things we've done. Just, I mean, as a community, even, and I'm just going to brag on Colorado. You know, just to, you know, I have people that would walk in and protest outside of our medical marijuana facility in downtown Denver when we first opened, 4.5 years ago. And they come in and protest, and you know what I do? I would order them pizza and feed them, and then I'd go out and talk to them. You know, I'd have full-on Coca-Colas and everything, and you know what happened? A couple of the protesters ended up being our patients and still are today.
Here we go. Yeah, we can turn our enemies around, but it's really easy to do. Just get them high. That's my message. Well, turn them around and get them high.
Absolutely.
They don't understand what we're doing. My goal is to drag as many people on pot as I can. That's my major goal right now.
Bless your heart.
It's a good goal.
It's a great goal. And what you've been through, I mean, just following your history, Dennis, I got to bow to you. Just thinking about all the people that have tried to tear you down, that have tried to defame you, that have arrested you. Your perseverance is magic, my friend, and I want to thank you.
They try to malign me. They try to beat me up. They beat me up. They shot me. They try to kill me. But I'm very resilient. I wish I could say that about Harvey Milk, my mentor, my best friend. He was killed, or, you know, I'm still carrying on his legacy of giving people hope. We did a monumental thing in San Francisco. We did what no one else did. We got gay people to come out of their closet, and people said they're just like us. They're not so mysterious. And we changed the attitude of gay people. And that's never been done, because everyone thought, oh, gay people will beat them up, and they come on you beat them up, and they're wrong. Everything about them is wrong. We changed that to non-discrimination now. Gays in the military, I never thought I'd see gay Marines, but we have seen it. You know, from Harvey's work and my work in San Francisco here, we changed the world. And carrying on the medical marijuana it's going to change the world. It has already changed the world, and it's going to continue to. And we've got to keep it going because you let it down and you backslide, and people think, oh, that hippie stuff and that. We've got to prove that it's a medicine. We've got to know whether it is medicine, and we've got to trumpet its causes and trumpet its savior. So
that's right. And what you did, let's go back to what you did in the gay rights movement, because I've recently we work with, I'm not going to use his name on the air here, but we hired a very powerful federal lobbyist who is a gay man that we work very, very closely with, and he calls medical marijuana. He says, you know what? He jumped on this cause. He says medical marijuana is the new gay.
Yeah,
and
it is.
Do you see it that way?
Okay, yeah. It's kind of like because we stomped on it for a long time, and then pretty soon they laughed at us and they beat us up, and then eventually they'll come with us. And they found the gay thing there, and they hated us, and then eventually they said, they're not so bad. And then now everyone wants to be gay. No, they don't want to be gay. They just want to be the lifestyle of gay.
Absolutely.
Well, I don't really know what that is.
Well, it's about stylish and great taste and
Well,
articulate.
think that, but most of my gay friends work in 3 jobs and they had to afford the apartments in San Francisco, and they have a tough life like everyone else. They work hard and they try to pay the bills, and they go to parties and they party on Friday and Saturday nights, and that's why I think people were really talking about the party aspects of gay people, that we're always partying. Well, rightfully so. Life could be a party.
That's
right.
Well
gay people like to do it as a pastime, but and straight people like to do it too. So that's the new gay. Become gay just that way.
Well, absolutely. And you know what? I mean, who cares? The measure to your happiness isn't in you're gay or you're straight.
No,
it's in how hard
right.
you're smiling, my friend. So,
Right.
and how hard your lips curl to the north is what I like to say a lot of times.
It's like, all right, now everyone wants to be gay. Oh, shit. From hating us, trying to kill us, now I want to be gay. I like that lifestyle.
Yeah,
So,
and that's kind of the way it is with medical marijuana, too. We've seen right-wing, Republican, hardcore fundamentalist Christians change right before our eyes. Begin to come in and say, "Oh, okay,
what's
I get
the guy's
it."
name? Pat Robertson.
Pat Robertson. Yeah. Can you
Imagine
believe that?
Think about that. He was the right wing. I don't think he has a brain in his body.
No.
Now he's for marijuana. Pretty soon he's gonna be gay.
Well, I mean, I've watched his show, a few times out of entertainment value, and I think he's pretty high anyway.
He may even be gay too.
Well, yeah, he's a big proponent against gays, and that's
oh
usually
God, yeah, he spends his whole life, got all his money on that.
That's usually a good indication.
He's getting nice marijuana. These things should be legalized, and I'm all for Pat.
I am
Go,
too.
Pat, go.
Hey, I'll put a bumper sticker of Pat on my car. I got a question for you, because you I don't mean to stir any fires up here, but you've been called out as being not a proponent for Prop 19. Could you tell us a little bit about why you weren't so excited about that proposition?
Well, I want legalization. That was not legalization. That was like legalization with all sorts of strings, and you limited the amount of marijuana you could grow. It limited the way you could buy it. It was control. These control freaks in life. You'll meet them all your life. Control this, control that. I don't want to be controlled by control freaks. And that was written by control freaks. We got to tax it. We got to control it, because you'll go out of your mind if we don't control it. We have done without control for a long time in the marijuana movement. We don't need control. We don't need government control. We don't need any kind of control except self-control. And that's for everyone to decide themselves. That's from what you set your limits. But that was about control. And I'm against this taxing. And somehow people are thinking that if we give them money, they'll stop busting us. That's wrong. That's wrong to think that. That's like buying off the bear. Give the bear food and he won't bust you. No. we've got to do what's right. Marijuana is a God-saving drug, and we've got to stand up for it. And we don't have to be taxed. You can tax liquor.
Oh, yeah.
Tax the stuff that's going to be really wrong for society. The hamburgers, those greasy hamburgers. Want to tax something? Tax them.
Yeah, absolutely. Good point.
My people don't need taxes.
Dennis, this is Jesse Stanley. I got a question for you that's sort of along the lines of, I guess, people thinking that if you give the government money that they're going to make it okay. With what's going on at, I believe it's Harborside?
Steve's shop. Yeah.
How I mean, privy to information are you on that? I mean, are you following that pretty close?
Oh yeah, I'm following it. I always knew and tell them all. I've been telling all these clubs we have to change the federal law. We've got to do it. We have to have a campaign to change federal law. Instead of just laying on our laurels, we got Oakland, we got this, and we got that. We've got to change federal law, and I've been active in that. I've written every congressman from every state that legalized medical marijuana. I told them, despite how you may feel about it, you are our conduit to the federal government. You work for us. Your people have spoken, and we had 140 congressmen, and we have 140 congressmen. I got to admit, California congressmen haven't been picked up the ball, but that congressman you have from Colorado, that guy really gave that Tanya or whatever her name is.
Yeah,
he gave her a licking.
Jared Polis, he's a good friend of ours, and he is a courageous and very, very, very smart, tactful fighter.
What a great guy, and he's a great fighter, and I'm glad to have him on our side. And you should be very proud of him in Colorado.
We certainly are. Jared is just, he's the best thing that's happened to Colorado in a long time. And folks out there in Colorado listening right now, Joe McCloskey is also in a close race in Congress against a guy named Mike Hoffman, who is an absolute lying Nazi. So those of you that can get out there and vote for Joe McCloskey, I'd like to take this time to plug that right now.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep. And folks, you know what Dennis just said? He's written every one of the senators and congressmen. So we can sit and we can bitch and we can moan and we can complain about all this stuff, or you can get out and you can tell them, because they're your elected official and they work for you, not the other way around.
Good point.
I remind them that that's the only way we can change federal law is through them. They are our messenger to Washington, and they have to accede to our message. Our message is we want to reschedule marijuana. We've got to be done now. And I have a feeling it was very close. 190 congressmen. And now they weren't all just Democrats. There was like 25 Republicans. And so it's a bipartisan issue. What we need is like 40 more votes. 227 wins.
That's as close as we've ever been.
Yeah.
It's the closest we've ever been. I think we'll be a little closer. 227. We can get there this year.
Absolutely.
Yes, we
our
can.
congressional races, a lot of the old guards being turned out. We can turn it around. We can become legalized marijuana this year. I believe it.
I believe it too, Dennis. I call it the snowball effect. And you go back just 12 years in the year 2000. And you ask somebody, hey, would you vote for medical marijuana? The answer would likely in Colorado have been no. Now, even if they're a right-wing, fall off the right-wing Republican Christian, they'll look at it and say, I may not use marijuana, but now I know somebody who benefits from it.
Uses,
And so that's how we're winning these people over. And I think, Dennis, I think it could be this year. I agree with you, man.
It could be. And really next year, because November elections. But
Sure.
we were here to talk about Peter McWilliams. I want to say something about him. Because he's the focus of the show. When our campaign was going in California in '96, he was one of those people that stood up and grew marijuana with Todd McCormick, and they got busted. And what happened is, people don't know it, but he was very active in the marijuana movement, and he got caught, and he was going to federal judge. The federal judge told him not to smoke pot, but he, in fact, needed to smoke pot to keep his nausea. He was forced not to smoke pot, and then, unfortunately, he died. He died in his own vomit. So it was fitting that he would have died that way, but at the same time, I believe that judge committed murder. And I believe that's what's happening now. any judge that ordered people not to smoke marijuana committing murder. And so I wanted, Peter has a little mark in history, and he gave his life for what he believed, and marijuana was it. And so I'm memorializing, and I appreciated him living, and I'm sorry he died. But let not his death be in vain. Let's do it to him.
That's right. Peter McWilliams, folks, and we're going to be talking to Julia Rose next. And Dennis is absolutely right. It was murder. What happened to Peter, but he lives on, guys. He lives on through us. He lives on through Dennis. He lives on through Julia, through all of you who continue to fight this battle. You know, he wrote that book, Ain't Nobody's Business If You Do. And I don't know if anybody's had the opportunity to read that, but you pick it up. I think he wrote that in 1993, I believe it was. And this man stood on principles and values, and we thank him for that every day. Hey, Dennis, we got to cut to a break here, but I want to tell you what an honor it is to speak to you, and I appreciate you coming on the show. Can we have you on again sometime in the future?
Sure, anytime. Why not? I'm available. So thank you, Jason, for you keeping the torch alive and passing it on. And I appreciate what you're doing there. And it's good to be on your show. And I'll do it again.
Thank you so much, sir. And thank you for everything you've done. And I look forward to meeting you soon. Have a great evening, sir. And folks, we're gonna take a short break here now. We're gonna be back with Julia Rose, and we're gonna be talking about Peter McWilliams and his amazing legacy and his amazing story. We're excited for that. Stay tuned to American Weed Realm Radio.
The Clinic is proud to announce the 3rd annual Clinic Charity Classic Golf Tournament benefiting the Colorado MS Society. The tournament will be held at City Park Golf Course this coming August 11th. There will be some incredible prizes, including an opportunity to win a trip for 2 to Hawaii. The trip includes airfare, 8 days, 7 nights at the Ritz-Carlton Kapalua, including 4 rounds of golf and $1,500 spending cash. Thanks to the incredible support of Weed Maps, Hetty Glass, Rocky Mountain Hydro, T. Meyer & Stitch, Dixie Elixir, and MMJPrinting.com, we're able to provide awareness to this incredibly difficult condition that so many Coloradans are suffering from. The event will be covered extensively by our favorite industry media outlets, Culture Magazine, The Hemp Connoisseur, Kush Magazine, and of course the amazing people at iCannabis Radio. Please register at thecliniccolorado.com or at any of our 6 convenient locations throughout the Denver metro area.
Let's face it, rules and regulations are complicated, especially in the field of medical marijuana. Let Medical Marijuana 101 help you get through the compliance process. We can also explain to you your employment requirements, your employees, and your business. But our work doesn't stop there. Our experience in cultivation ranges from the design of grow rooms to the diagnosis and resolution of grow problems. Visit us at www.medicalmarijuana101.com or call 303-388-7706. That's 303-388-7706. Are you a runner? Are you a runner who supports marijuana legalization? Run on Grass is a group of athletes actively seeking to change our marijuana laws. We speak the truth about cannabis, bringing the message through our feet to new ears. Check out runongrass.com to find out more about us, our events, and how to join up or how to sponsor a runner. If you're in the Denver area, please join us for runs or start a group in your area. Running not your thing? Any sport can do it. On grass. runongrass.com.
Hi, Josh Stanley here from National Geographic's American Weed. I'm here with my brothers, and we've just recently put together a foundation in Colorado to allow for cancer patients and other patients of debilitating conditions to be able to get a hold of cannabis-based oil that's just about free of charge. I've just about had it with seeing sick patients suffer needlessly just because they can't afford the proper medication. That's what the Realm of Caring is going to change. Visit therealmofcaring.com. The website will be complete and up on 4/20 of 2012. But until then, please contact any of us Stanley brothers directly through email. You can get us at gratefuljosh@hotmail.com. Now come on, Colorado. We need to take care of each other. Join the Realm. That's realmofcaring.com. Thank you so much.
Are you a medical marijuana patient or interested in finding out how to become one? Contact Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. Conveniently located on Hamden and Tamarack in the Whole Foods parking lot behind Proof of the Pudding. Mile High Wellness offers a wide variety of edibles, hashes, and some of Colorado's top strains. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. 3525 South Tamarack, Suite 110, on the corner of Hamden and Tamarack. 720-382-8516. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern.
California's Attorney General has determined that the Repeal Cannabis Prohibition Act will save hundreds of millions of dollars from our overburdened justice system while creating hundreds of millions in new tax revenues from new sustainable jobs and industries that are friendly to our environment. But we can't do it without your help. We are seeking your donations to get on the ballot. Please go to repealcannabisprohibition.org to learn more about how you can help. It's time to end the war on cannabis and hemp in California. It's time to end the madness. Paid for by Sensible Californians Incorporated.
The law offices of Edson, Mayton, and Matz provide criminal defense, medical marijuana defense, and advice about setting up and running medical marijuana centers, optional premises cultivation operations, and infused product manufacturing businesses throughout Colorado. With offices in Denver and Aspen, we can offer assistance throughout the entire state of Colorado. Give us a call at 303-831-8188. That's 303-831-8188. Or visit us online at warrenedson.com.
Hi, I'm Josh Stanley.
And I'm Jesse Stanley.
Two of the brothers here from National Geographic's American Weed, and we'd like to invite you to come into our dispensaries in Colorado Springs. Come in for the most pure organic strain selection in Colorado. It's all hand-grown by the Stanley brothers, especially for our patients. So come in and visit us at our two locations, East Platte and West Colorado. And remember,
always be kind to each other.
Welcome back to American Weed Realm Radio. Josh Stanley here, your host, here with the Mustache Man, Jesse Stanley.
I'm not going to live the Mustache Man down, I don't think, anytime soon.
I don't think you are either until you
shave it?
Shave that rat on top of your lip.
It's not happening.
Okay, folks, we have a next guest here, but I'm going to give you a little bit of background on Peter McWilliams and Peter's story here. It is it's just an amazing, compelling story who Peter McWilliams was. He was a lot of things. He wore a lot of hats. He was an author, he was a publisher, he was a photographer, a poet, an activist, among many other things. And one of the most important things that he is and continues to be is an inspiration to people. And you know, it's unfortunate what Peter went through, the trials and strife, as you heard Dennis mention earlier, but we didn't lose him. He passed away in the year 2000, which you know, technically the federal government killed him. And you heard Dennis, he drowned in his own vomit because he couldn't have access to his medication. But Peter's a big reason that we're here today. And we're going to hear from Julia Rose. I'm honored to have her, and I'm going to have her tell you about Peter's page and Peter's story and what she does to continue to keep the memory of Peter alive. Julia, do we have you on the phone here?
Yes, Mr. Stanley.
Well, Mr. Stanley, oh my goodness. No,
I don't think I've ever heard anybody call you that.
You know what? I think I'm going to start making everybody call me Mr. Stanley. That makes me feel real good. Thank you, Julia. No, please.
You're welcome, Mr. Stanley.
You know, you can call me Josh or Ass or, you know, whatever you prefer.
Okay, Mr. Josh.
Mr. Josh, there you go. Honey, it's an honor to have you on the show. And what I'd like to talk about here, obviously, we're here for Peter and Peter's story here. Tell us a little bit about what you started and what you do.
Okay, I run petermcwilliams.org, which I took over from another wonderful person who had run it since Peter died in 2000. He let me have it, which is really awesome. So I redesigned it last year, and I hope people will go there. I started in 2009 because I heard about Peter through, well, I read his book, You Can't Afford the Luxury of a Negative Thought, and it was so amazing, and I wanted to reach Peter to thank him, and I went online and discovered he died, and I cried like for 30 minutes because his words had touched me that deep, and it was like I lost a best friend. So contacted their publishing company, and it turns out I talked to his mama, and wouldn't you know, his mama, and I said, can I please start a tribute for Peter on MySpace? And she said sure, and I don't think she really believed I would. And then 3 days later I had this page up, and now we got the Facebook page and the .org, and it kind of grew from there, you know.
Well, it has grown. It's grown immensely from there. I mean, I've just looking at what you've done and seeing all the hits that you've gotten and keeping this memory alive. And it's more than a memory, isn't it? It's a legacy. It's something that gives people hope. It's something that gives inspiration. Because you look at what Peter went through, And it was
Yeah.
it was horrific. And then we look at where we're at today, and we wouldn't be here without leaders like this. And that's really what keeps us going, doesn't it, Julia?
Yes, sir, it definitely does. I believe this is a living tribute. It's not something in the past. I get emails from people every single day that say that Peter's words helped change their lives, helped heal their lives. And, you know, like you said, Peter wore a lot of hats. He was a poet and a self-publisher of over 40 books. 5 of them hit the New York Times bestseller list, and he did that all on his own.
Now that amazes me. Okay, because
Yeah.
is this a true story? And I heard somebody told me this story about Peter, that he took a couple of his books to 15 different publishers and couldn't get anyone to publish it, and then he did it
was
himself.
actually 20 publishers.
Oh gosh.
You were off by 5.
Uh-oh.
And they all said, no, Peter, you can't do it, you know. And then he went, and that's the book that became the New York Times bestsellers. You can't afford the luxury of a negative thought. So he really lived those words. He never gave up. And, yeah, and in 1996, March of 1996, that's when he was diagnosed with both AIDS and non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And I just learned this about him, that he didn't just dive into using cannabis. He was kind of cautious about it, because he'd been in this religion for 15 years that preached that marijuana is bad, you know. And so he believed that, and he still believed it, and he was trying to break from that prejudice, he said.
You know,
and so he started using it, and he found that he used to have really bad nausea. He would be throwing up all day, every day practically. And he went from staying in bed all day to being able to create on the computer. He actually learned 2 different computer programs, if you'll believe that. And he wrote another bestseller just because he could smoke cannabis.
Wow.
And before, he was just really almost incapacitated, you know?
And he became quite the activist in 1997, and of course that's a year after Prop 215 passed, right? And then him and Todd McCormick, they put together a big garden, right? And I think their purpose wasn't even to go out and sell it and make all this money. It was to be able to give to people for medication. And then the DEA raided them. Do I have that correct?
Yes, it's pretty much correct. They really harassed Peter really bad. I mean, they came in, they seized his computers, and he said they scrubbed them clean. But then they came back and his computer had a virus on it, and you know they literally arrested him in his home, and they threw him in jail for 30 days, and they called him a drug kingpin. And I mean, my goodness, this was just a gentle, kind man who tried to help people, and they're treating him like a criminal. Like, I'm sure you encounter this every single day in your, you know, beautiful work with patients and whatnot. Treated like criminals. It's just so sad.
Julia, let's touch on that for a minute, because you just said it. Every day, my brothers and I, we wake up and we dedicate our lives to making oil to get to cancer patients or debilitating condition patients, or even Dravet children for the non-psychoactive, to make the oil, to get it to them. So it doesn't cost them anything. We devote our days to this, and every day we get out of bed, we have to keep looking over our shoulder and wonder, is this a day that we're going to be visited by authorities? And that is so opposite.
It's insane.
Isn't it,
So
though?
insane. Yes. I mean, it's a natural plant that grows everywhere. Why can't... I mean, I just don't understand that, you know? I mean, people are killing themselves smoking cigarettes every single day, you know, or getting drunk driving and killing people on the streets, you know? And
yeah,
you could still drink legally. You could still smoke legally, but you can't have cannabis legally. And it's very heartbreaking.
You know, it would be a lot different if we were talking about a plant here that got you high, and that was it. Okay, it stopped there. There was no medicinal benefit. But we're talking about, folks, we're talking about a plant here that has, it's only second to the palm species in biofuels. You don't have to crop rotate it. It puts nitrogen in the soil. You can grow a stalk on this plant 6 inches round in 9 months, where it takes 9 years to grow pine this big. It eats cancer cells. It can stop the progression of Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, MS, arthritis, all of these amazing conditions. Even in non-psychoactive CBD form, it stops epilepsy in these young children who have the unfortunate Dravet syndrome.
Josh, the problem with it is that it causes euphoria, and they don't want anybody being happy.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Isn't that amazing?
I mean, Peter. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, sweetheart. Go ahead.
Oh, Peter was saying that after a while he wasn't getting high anymore. He wasn't feeling that high effect, but what it does was it soothed him, and he said it didn't necessarily take away all the pain, but what it did was it calmed him so much it distracted him from the pain. So he was able to focus on a bird singing or watching a sunset. And he said, like, the first puff, you know, wasn't so much, but the second puff, his nausea went totally away. And the third puff, he noticed a sensation he never had before, which was hunger. And, you know, he noticed that his AIDS count in his body totally, like, evaporated after using cannabis. It was just remarkable, the results he had.
The results we're seeing today from AIDS patients that are taking this,
Yes.
and even in concentrated oil form, we're seeing their counts go down. And the more we look into this, Julia, the more they'd like to put us in orange jumpsuits.
That's just so ridiculous. It's crazy. That's criminal. You know, they say the word decriminalize. Well, the word criminal, why is the word criminal still in decriminalize? Well
put.
You're still a criminal, and it's just absolutely insane. And Peter would be alive today, I feel, if he was allowed to smoke cannabis. But the federal government stepped in, even after Proposition 215, which Mr. Perone, who I call Grandpa, by the way, worked so hard on with Peter and others. And, you know, the federal government just basically thumbed their nose at the state law and said, no, we can't do this. We're going to jail you, Peter. And if you take cannabis again, your mother and your brother will lose their house. And this is America. I mean,
and this is,
that's
folks,
insane.
this is not that long ago, folks. This is very recent. The federal judge that sentenced Peter, okay, he forbade him to use the marijuana. Guys, this is the truth. 5 days after that he was prohibited from using his medical cannabis, Peter was found dead. 5 days.
Yes, he was discovered by his housekeeper in the bathroom. And, you know, some people say he was in vomit, and other people say he had heart complications due to all the nausea. But my goodness, if you're throwing up all the time, you can't help but have heart problems and any other kind of problem. It's just so heartbreaking, and that he had to die, you know. But people might call him a drug war victim, but I don't think Peter would want to be remembered as a victim, because he was such a warrior. You know, I believe he fought till the end. He gave it everything he had. And, you know, he tried to have his own medical marijuana magazine online, and he would write people emails, like, all the time about his progress, and if anyone had problems, they could come to him, and he would try to help every single person he could.
Yeah,
and I mean,
well put,
treated
Julia.
like a criminal, yeah.
And he would not want us to be looking at him like a victim. That is absolutely not what he was about passion. He was about love. He was about education, and he never stopped right to the end. And folks, when you read the story, and Julia, is it petermcwilliams.org? Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I want to make sure everybody knows that. Okay, and folks, please go visit the site. Please get involved with this. It's just a very compelling story, and guys, I'm here to tell you this is happening to people all over the world. Okay, what happened to Peter?
Every single day.
Every single day, and that's what we need to be cognizant, and that's what we need to be aware of. what are we doing? What are we doing? And forget about the fact that this is America, land of the free, home of the brave. We're in this together as a human race. Okay, this has nothing to do with Colorado. It has nothing to do with the United States. It has everything to do with citizens of humanity. And more people are finding out the medicinal cannabis is an amazing answer and an amazing treatment alternative to prescription drugs and medications. They're denied it every day, and every day they're denied it, they're sicker and they're sicker and they're sicker, and many die. It's unfortunate, and people like you, Julia, who are helping fight and create this awareness like this, are absolutely jewels, and we want to thank you so much for doing what you're doing.
Well, I'm just grateful that you're allowing me to come on here and share a story, because it amazes me that so many people in the movement still have never heard of Peter. And when you go to the Seattle Hemp Fest, which I'm so honored to be speaking at this year, when you go to the McWilliams stage, how many people, I wonder, go there and don't even know who McWilliams was? You know, they look at the stage, okay, and they see this photo of a beautiful, handsome man, and they're actually letting me put a banner up there this year, and the quote on there is, "Nausea is the unsolved problem of medicine, and marijuana is the finest anti-nausea medication known to science." Peter said that.
Amen.
Yeah, and we've even got the T-shirt with with that on the back of that, and people really relate to that. You know, so many patients come up to me and say, "Wow, that is the statement of my life, because without cannabis, you know, I would not be able to keep my medications down."
Yeah. Julia, this is Jesse Stanley here. I do have a question for you. I haven't been able to go to the website yet, but one of all the things that Peter was, and he was a very amazing man, he also struggled with depression.
Yes.
What and how are you... do you have a lot of people kind of contacting you about that? Because I've looked at I haven't been able to read his works yet, but his books, you can tell, really kind of hit that topic. And how does his legacy sort of help other people? I mean, do you have any stories where people contact you that sort of struggle with depression that have used him as an example?
Oh, goodness. Thank you so much for asking this question, because I feel it's so overlooked a lot. Peter actually had depression since the age of 3. He himself said that, but he never knew what it was. So he walked along in his life not even knowing that he had major depression. And with the help of Harold Bloomfield, sorry, truck is passing, who was his co-author and therapist at times and friend since the 70s, you know, they worked on how to heal depression together. And Peter found that St. John's wort, another natural healing herb like cannabis, helped his depression, and he wanted to help others. So they co-wrote that book, and I really recommend that book for people struggling with depression.
What is that book called again?
How to Heal Depression.
How to Heal Depression.
Yes, and it's still in print. But yeah, so as far as people contacting me, oh my goodness, I've had people write me the most heartbreaking emails. I had this one lady that said that she was going through a divorce and she just wanted to complete suicide. And Peter's words had touched her so much that she just turned her life around, basically. She went and saw a good therapist, and she's still alive because of Peter. And I get those stories all the time, you know, from people, and it's just remarkable. And it's very important to tell people about what he did for depression as much as he did for the cannabis. And I'm so grateful you guys asked that. Oh my goodness.
Absolutely. I think that is a very it's an unfortunate topic to talk about, but there are so many Americans, I mean just Americans, that struggle with depression, and I think it's important for them to have an example of someone that is such an amazing man that struggled with it his whole life, yet still got things done, was a New York Times bestseller.
He wrote
author.
a book about it. He faced his depression head on.
So many amazing things that he did. It's such a I know many people that could use him as an example. And I hope that all that stuff is on the his webpage, and I hope that our listeners are out there, that if anybody struggles with depression, if you know somebody that struggles with depression, it is not something to just blow off. It is a very, very serious thing, and definitely study and get to know who Peter McWilliams was, and you'll have an example of somebody that sort of hit his depression head on and didn't run from it, and that's just a beautiful thing, and I appreciate you sharing that with everybody out here.
Yeah, it's definitely important, and yes, it is on petermcwilliams.org. And the other thing is, you guys mentioned earlier about gay rights. Well, Peter happened to be gay himself, and he also struggled with being bullied all throughout high school because he was different and because they sensed he was gay. So he stood up and he wrote about that subject as well. But I mean, with depression, it's such a stigma as well because, for some reason, people still label you as a nutcase or nuts or off your rocker. I mean, but yet they're able to look at diabetes and say, okay, you're not a freak. But if you're depressed, suddenly you're a freak. Because they just don't understand it,
Well, and Julia, you're so right. And what happens is, when people don't understand something, they tend to fear it. And when you fear something, that creates these emotions, and it's kind of a fight or flight. And that's what we see when people, judge a depressed person or a person that uses medical marijuana, for example. If it's unknown, it tends to be feared, and then if it's feared, it tends to be judged. And that's we have to, as humans, get away from that type of thinking. That's a downward spiral type of a thinking. And even though Peter went through all these types of trials and tribulations, he smiled. He conquered it. He faced his demons head on, and he came and he said, "Bring it on," and to the end. He never stopped smiling. He never stopped loving, and he never stopped educating. And folks, that's our call. That's what we are here to do as humans.
You're going to make me cry. That's just, wow. Yeah. Wow, yeah. Yeah, you just summed it up better than I ever could. Oh my goodness.
Well, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show here tonight. We're going to wrap it up in just a second, Julia. But I was looking at a few of the quotes. Peter was so good at quotes and getting to the point on things. And a couple of things that really touched me here, I just want to share with you. And these are Peter's quotes.
Oh, great.
Joy is a word that I use to describe love. Love is a word that I use to describe joy.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that say it right there, folks? I mean, good night. What a man. And then I'm gonna give another one here. This one really tickled me death. He said, "Why must I always fall for chicken shits and ego trips?"
On ego trips, yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna steal that one from him. I'm gonna use both of them. Julia, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show. Will you come on in the future with us and be a part of this again?
Oh my goodness, I would love to. I'd be so honored.
Yeah, absolutely.
You guys are so great. I mean, what you do for the patients and that you care. I mean, just coming through the phone line, I could hear all this caring. I could just feel it. It's just amazing.
Well,
you're making me cry. Stop it! You're making me cry.
Oh, you're too sweet. Well, we've enjoyed talking with you. I hope you have a wonderful evening, and I want to thank you for sending me that T-shirt. I waited till 5:30; it didn't get there, but I'm going to wear it next week. You can bet on it. We'll bring Peter up next week, and we'll have you on the show in the future. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Blessings and love to you. Okay.
Thank you. I'm sending you hugs.
All right, honey. Good night.
Good night.
And, she said, it's the care is what Julia just said. And we want to thank her for having on here. And that's what this is all about, folks. This is the realm of caring, realmofcaring.com. I haven't mentioned that enough tonight, realmofcaring.com. Guys, Stanley Brothers can't do all this on our own. I say it every week. We add 3 to 4 new cancer patients or debilitating condition patient a week, and we're trying to shoulder this on our own.
We want to add more.
We want to help as many as we can. The day that we have to turn somebody away is we're going to be the worst day of our lives. So please go to realmofcaring.com. Donate what you can. Give what you can. It's a 501c3 nonprofit. And we need help. There's a lot more people out there that need this medicine. Guys, we're gonna sign off for the night. We have an exciting show for you next week, and we're gonna look forward to seeing you then. Sexpot Radio is coming up next, so stay tuned for that. And in the meantime, guys, remember, it just takes one lighthouse to bring in 1,000 ships. Please be that lighthouse. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you next week.
Are you a runner? Are you a runner who supports marijuana legalization? Run on Grass is a group of athletes actively seeking to change our marijuana laws. We speak the truth about cannabis, bringing the message through our feet to new ears. Check out runongrass.com to find out more about us, our events, and how to join up or how to sponsor a runner. If you're in the Denver area, please join us for runs or start a group in your area. Running not your thing? Any sport can do it. On grass. Runongrass.com.
Hi, Josh Stanley here from National Geographic's American Weed. I'm here with my brothers, and we've just recently put together a foundation in Colorado to allow for cancer patients and other patients of debilitating conditions to be able to get a hold of cannabis-based oil that's just about free of charge. I've just about had it with seeing sick patients suffer needlessly just because they can't afford the proper medication. That's what the Realm of Caring is going to change. Visit therealmofcaring.com. The website will be complete and up on 4/20 of 2012. But until then, please contact any of us Stanley brothers directly through email. You can get us at gratefuljosh@hotmail.com. Now come on, Colorado. We need to take care of each other. Join the Realm. That's realmofcaring.com. Thank you so much.
Are you a medical marijuana patient or interested in finding out how to become one? Contact Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. Conveniently located on Hamden and Tamarack in the Whole Foods parking lot behind Proof of the Pudding. Mile High Wellness offers a wide variety of edibles, hashes, and some of Colorado's top strains. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. 3525 South Tamarack, Suite 110, on the corner of Hamden and Tamarack. 720-382-8516. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern.
California's Attorney General has determined that the Repeal Cannabis Prohibition Act will save hundreds of millions of dollars from our overburdened justice system while creating hundreds of millions in new tax revenues from new sustainable jobs and industries that are friendly to our environment. But we can't do it without your help. We are seeking your donations to get on the ballot. Please go to repealcannabisprohibition.org to learn more about how you can help. It's time to end the war on cannabis and hemp in California. It's time to end the madness. Paid for by Sensible Californians Incorporated.
What are you thinking about? Same thing you are.
Stages
listening to Sexpot Radio. Now, here's Jenny Cush.
Hey everyone, welcome to Sexpot Radio. Always good to see you on Tuesday nights. Today is 710. For those of you that don't know what that is oil upside down and backwards.
Yes.
So,
and not the shitty kind of oil that we invade other countries.
Some dabbing day.
It's dabbing day. Yeah.
Dabbing day. A little dabble do ya. Anyway.
But today a big dabble do ya.
A big dab.
Today it's days for globs and bombs, but not like shitty bombs. But
right.
Globs and bombs is pow fucking.
Why do some people call it boogers?
Well, because like it sticks to your finger.
I don't want to
like
smoke
a booger.
boogers.
Well, like if you get a little piece of hash or a little piece of shatter and you got it rolled
It's
up
still
into
gross.
a little ball. No, hold on. Hold on. You got it rolled up into a nice little BB ball, whatever, your little booger.
Right.
Well, now, fuck, dude,
See?
I've never called it a booger until now. Anyways.
Our good friend Ryan calls it a booger all the time. It drives me crazy.
I mean, there's oil out there that looks exactly like a
right.
I won't smoke that stuff.
So everyone knows we have the lovely Miss Rachel in the studio with us tonight. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
And we have Lily here. Yay! I love you, Lily. So anyway, boogers.
Boogers.
Yeah.
Boogers.
But
Gross.
smokable boogers. But no, when you got your little rollable, you got your little ball of shatter, and you get it too close to the nail as you're getting ready to drop it in, it melts to your finger, and you got to try to flick it in there like it's a booger.
Flick it. So gross.
Flick it like a booger.
It's not a booger. It's a dab. And for those of you that don't know what a dab is, then that would be hash. So get your dab on. Anyway, tonight on this show, we have a few crazy things coming up. We're going to have another weird sex story just to see what kind of reaction we can get out of Jeremy over here in the corner.
So we can get speechless like last week with the...
I don't know what to think.
Dude, the guy fucking returns guy douche with
It's
full
not
fucking
guy douche,
containers.
it's just ass
It's
douche.
enema. What? That's why it's guy douche. Where else
for
is a guy
girls,
gonna
too.
douche? Well, just for a dude. I don't know. It sounded gross. It sounded
Girls and dudes can both douche their asses.
Okay, so
just don't return that shit to the store.
You're right. You're right.
So
And poor people
gross.
that purchase those items.
Can you imagine getting that phone call?
Oh.
I believe that you may have purchased some contaminated enema fluid, and it may contain some fecal matter.
But I already used.
Don't stick it in your mouth. Don't stick it in your butt if you don't know where it's been.
Yeah.
Gross.
That's where I had problems.
I know, right?
It was like.
I put out a fair warning to everyone to be aware of their packaging when they purchase things. Enemas come in a box, in a bag, with a safety seal. Make sure all are intact before you use them. I only know this because I used to work in a hospital. Disgusting. Anyway, we are also going to be having some zombie news tonight. There's some companies out there making bank on zombie ammo. So
Why not, dude? It's fucking
Right?
trendy.
It's awesome.
It was only a matter of time before like wooden stakes got to be popular.
Right?
You know, the whole vampire.
Have a wooden stake, break behind glass kind of thing going on.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, that just wasn't quite cool enough, but fucking zombie bullets, dude, that's fucking pretty cool.
Right.
Because whether you're stopping a zombie or whatever, you're shooting a fucking gun, and that's just.
It's
always
only
fun.
cooler if it's a zombie bullet.
Right, because the regular bullet wouldn't even phase a zombie, right?
It totally wouldn't phase a zombie. I'm pretty sure you have to buy zombie bullets.
But why is the
we did decide also last week that Axe body spray for men may possibly be zombie repellent.
Ooh.
Because that's just nasty when you try to breathe around
Oh,
it.
yeah.
And everyone that uses it uses an overzealous amount of it.
I think even just a little bit
Like,
is I think it's
Either you can't smell it at all, or you're walking 5 minutes after you met dude on the street and you can still taste it in your mouth.
I'm gonna go get some zombie repellent tonight.
So everybody, Axe is not for attracting women, it is for repelling zombies.
Yeah.
Because it's really not a turn on to taste chemicals.
It smelled good, like when it came out 100 years ago. What?
Yeah.
How many ever years?
I
5,
think
10,
it's like, I think it's now
like
Axe
that.
7X or some shit. Like, I
Oh.
don't know. Like, you know, it's kind of like Power 5. It's Axe 5, Axe 7. Like, I don't know. It's just too strong. And then, like, and then they get it with the body wash, the Axe body wash. And then you got the Axe spray and the Axe shampoo. And, like, really?
Apparently, some of our listeners have some Axe and they're spraying that shit around.
Stop using
Guys, if you
Lucy?
use Axe, you're axed out. Okay, so
we're gonna axe you.
It's
Lucy.
It's our good friend Lucy, though.
I like the body wash. That's about it. Like the
Okay, if you're
spray.
gonna use it, pick one.
Well, yeah, just the just the body wash is fine. Like,
You don't need to do layers.
no, you don't need.
Just
5.
pick one because they're all very, very strong and it's not cool. So anyway, also tonight on the show, tonight, we also have our good friend Turtle, who is also known as the Cocksmith. Blows a lot of cock. I don't know what more to say about it. That's how he introduced himself to me. I bet I blow more cock than you do. And I said, wanna bet? So he's totally awesome. We were going to talk about the difference between cheating and being in an open relationship. We will also have the good folks from the Bongathon in here to tell us about that event coming up. I guess that's been going on for years now. What did they say? Like 27 years?
Since 73, yeah.
Yeah, forever.
Insane.
That's a long time. And we will also have Dick Black in the studio later tonight when he gets over here from the show that he's doing right now to talk about an event that he has coming up at Herman's Hideaway called Take the Money and Run Talent Show.
Ooh.
So yeah, it could be interesting. You can win $1,000.
Ooh.
I think you have to pay to
Any
enter.
talent.
I probably don't have money to enter.
Oh.
I don't know. I don't know where the money comes from. Anyway, moving on. I would like to talk about this postal worker that got caught stealing things out of the mail. Personal things.
Was he stealing naughty things?
And so a postal worker from Peterborough stole packages containing pornographic DVDs, women's underwear, and stashed them in his loft. So he could potentially be facing jail time for this. I would believe that that is like, you know, tampering with the mail, whatever. What is that called?
Right.
Over
It is.
10.
It's a federal offense.
For sure.
I mean,
He didn't really collect that much. It is a federal offense.
Well,
but
even one. I mean, when we used to pull pranks as a kid, you know, and you put.
in 10 years, he only stole 24 DVDs. That's not that many.
Well, it's really not. But and when you take them out of somebody's mail,
And
that's.
if he got away with it for 10 years, I mean.
Well, what he was doing was opening packages that he believed had multiple items in them, and then he would just steal a couple. And then he would just repackage it and deliver the rest of the package. So, like, he just picked out the ones he wanted.
That's why the transparent packaging is kind of a good idea. You know, I mean, we cut down trees, we destroy these trees, we make packages that are far too big for the products that are in them, and you can't see through them, so you buy used, not douche, used enema solution boxes.
Right.
You know, that's just not, you know, it's like, yeah, exactly. So I kind of think that the way that we should go is more towards clear packaging of some kind. Stop using fucking paper.
Well, they found that his home was full of sex toys, underwear, lingerie, and books that had been sent through the Postal Service. When he was shown the items that they had collected, he admitted that they had come from the mail and that he had stolen. I don't know, like, really, women's underwear, I don't know, I guess, whatever.
Were they used?
No, they weren't used.
Okay.
They were brand new, but he, like, kept
Why
them.
break
So
a huge law like that when he could have just went to Walmart? I mean, wouldn't you just, like,
Well,
get a
because it's just
fine
so
or something?
tempting. It's
like,
right there.
oh, these were going to be on somebody
But
someday.
isn't
Like,
he opening, like, a lot of them? Because how does he know that that's what's in there?
he's obviously opening a lot because he's, like, making this collection. Like, of course, you know, items that you order online like this, of course, come in the inconspicuous brown packaging, which is totally suspicious. Like, you get a brown package in the mail, everyone knows that that's naughty stuff. Everybody. Like, it's the only thing that comes in a brown package.
Like when you get a magazine that's wrapped in black plastic.
Right.
Right.
You cannot see through this until you get home.
This package contains explicit materials. Really, like, covering the boobs. Like, you know, people are in the bathroom opening those up in the store, too. Which reminds me of Clerks, where, like, he borrows the guy the porn from behind the counter. And the guy goes in the bathroom to masturbate, and they find him, like, hours later dead. After that girl went in there and, like...
Clerks?
Yeah, Clerks. Well, how long has he been in there? I don't know. And they're like, we forgot he went in there. And she's like, who did I fuck in the back room? Who was it? I love that movie. We just had to watch that at the shop the other day. It was awesome.
37.
It was awesome. We watched the movie and we made the sign that says, if you're going to steal from us, please just let us know. And seriously, like 2 days later, this dude tries to steal from us.
Oh my god.
I was like, don't you see the sign? Like, at least just tell us.
Yeah.
Like, he came in, he asked to look at a bunch of domes. We took the domes out, set them on the counter. He's looking at them. I decided to show him a few in the heady case, and like all of a sudden he like starts reaching in there, like just grabbing stuff out of the case. And I was like, okay, dude, like you can't, like if you break stuff, I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah.
And so I just shut the case and locked it, and Pup was behind me putting away the domes that he had been looking at already. And she's like, hey, like where's the other dome? Like it was a black ground joint. Like you notice things like one with a black ground joint. Like that's not something common. That's always just laying around and like you got it in your pocket, right? So Pop like just asked him, and he's like, I didn't steal it, and he starts emptying his pockets and shit. And like I go into the office and I was like, hey Paul, like this dude's like trying to pull a fast one out here, and like he's like, it's okay, like pretty sure you guys got this. Like, and all of a sudden like I come around the corner and dude's like bending down, like pretending to Pop that he's picking it up off the floor, and he reaches in his shoe and pulls the dome out, and he's like, here's your dome, it was on the floor. And he like went in a huff and like walks out, and I was like, really, dude? Really?
Jeez.
Bite me.
Yeah.
Do not steal from us. We will catch you. And you know what? We will beat the shit out of you.
In the dispensary, and it's like, hey, you're on camera, and we have your ID and your.
I know, it's like you're on camera, you're right here, like you're the only two people in the store, like we're both working with you, we're paying attention to what the hell we're doing. We know what we took out of the case, like we have to take it out as you ask for it.
Right.
You asked me to take that specific dome out. Duh. Come back when you got $50. Until then, screw off. I'm not even giving you a 20% discount card.
You could always switch the sign that says shoplifters will be beaten to death.
Yeah.
Shoplifters will be serviced with used enemas in the back room.
See, now that sounds threatening and scary. Like nothing about
May
that.
contain fecal matter. Gross. I'm gonna just sick Kazak on him from now on out.
Yeah.
So yesterday I'm at work and Jeremy like smacks my ass, and Kazak like went after him.
Well, because he likes bubble pop.
He likes bubble wrap, and it just was like the perfect smack, and he's like trying to eat his hand off.
It's like, oh, you got toys? What do you got? No, that's just some ass and hands.
I love that dog. But anyone sketch like walks into the shop too, like he just like wigs out. Like he saw a dude walking down the street the other day with a suitcase on his shoulder, and he was like going ape shit nuts, like the hair on his back's all standing up. I'm like, I don't even want to know what is in that suitcase.
Oh,
like,
man, right?
I mean, like they could playing cadaver dog today or what, man?
Lily doesn't bark, and when she barks at somebody, I'm just like,
something's
ooh,
up. Like dogs know, man.
You.
Dogs totally know. Like,
yeah.
For sure. So, another story that we have, in Papua New Guinea, police are hunting the leader of a sex cult that promised villagers a bumper banana harvest if they engaged in public acts of sex. The alert was raised after a villager from Umina in one of the provinces over there. I can't say it. I don't know. He walked 12 hours to the nearest town to report the cult's activities. He told police that the cult's leader and his followers have been using threats of violence to force people to have sex in public for the past 4 months. The Post-Courier reports villagers had been promised their banana harvest would increase every time they fornicated publicly. 3 police officers trekked into the village over the weekend, but the leader, identified as Thomas Peely, was able to escape into the bush. Police enforcement are being sent to the area. So, I don't know, like some crazy sex cult dude like to watch people fuck.
So, what's the problem?
He was forcing them with violence and making them fuck in the streets. Like,
that's fucked up.
You will have big banana if you fuck in the street.
Or you will have no banana.
No banana if you do not do this.
Dead banana.
Like, how can you, like, I don't understand, like, how can you force somebody with violence to have sex? Like, can you really get an erection if somebody's, like, holding a gun to your head, like, fuck now, or no banana for you?
Not really. I don't know. I can't say I've been in that position.
Is it, like, a fear erection? Like, does that ever happen?
No. I don't know. I've never been in a situation where someone's like, get an erection or die.
Right?
Thank God.
I don't know what I would
that
do.
Either, universe, so, fuck.
Like, I don't know what I would do.
Well, it's different for a girl, because
It's
really
totally
you could
different
spit
for a
on it
girl,
or lube it,
like-
and you could just lay there and take it. A guy, well, I mean, if a guy's getting... okay.
You?
That's just whatever.
He really wants a banana.
A big banana.
Somebody wanted bananas out there.
Many
And
big
where's
bananas.
this bush that they haven't caught him?
I
yet?
know, right?
This is a big bush. Oh my God.
Lots of bushes and bananas.
Yeah.
Like, if you're living in a village that's a banana orchard, like, I can't imagine that there's a lot of bushes around. Like, I imagine that it's just a bunch of tall banana trees and there's not much ground foliage to run off into. Maybe it's just a big forest. I don't know. Dude's hiding in a big bush.
Forest of
Behind a big banana.
Forest of bananas. So, yeah. We're going to talk about this other guy that was arrested. This article is titled Autoerotica, which kind of just makes me laugh because I've heard of autoerotica, but it's not the same thing. Man arrested for simulated sex with a car. In Albuquerque.
Remember in 8 Crazy Nights when Adam Sandler was making love to his car? Have you ever seen that?
Mm-mm.
He's like, "Oh, baby, you're so beautiful," and he just starts humping his car.
Wow. An Albuquerque man was arrested after allegedly pulling down his pants and humping his car.
Yep.
I love that they use humping. Like,
That's a good journalistic thing.
right? Police say Danny Bronner, 46, began simulating sex in the parking lot of a grocery store as children looked on, presumably in horror and hopefully in misunderstanding. Police said they found Bronner asleep next to his car after the incident and that he appeared to be intoxicated. How drunk you gotta be to, like, stick your cock in a tailpipe? Like, I mean, gas tank, tailpipe, whatever you're going for. Are you just rubbing on the car? Like, do you just start it and rub on it like it's a washing machine or something?
It must be one of those walking erection things, that fear, and you get that erection.
He was
like,
afraid.
I'm scared, I gotta fuck something, there's a car, there's a hole.
He saw the price of milk in the grocery store and he walked out so petrified he had to fuck his car.
You would be more petrified by what's actually disgusting floating around in
the milk.
than
In the milk.
How much it costs.
Right? It's not me with the phone tonight. It's
I was
okay.
like, what's that cool sound?
I thought it was like some weird female alarm or something.
Usually it's mine, like, going off. And they always tell me that I can't have it on, and I'm like, it's okay, I'm waiting for people. I'm waiting for people, I need it on. So yeah, I don't know, like, how intoxicated does one really need to be to, like, just, like, be like, hey, baby, let me get your
men
motor
love
running.
cars, apparently.
A lot.
A lot.
I mean,
More
I can
than I thought.
I can kind of see if, like, the car's on. There's that vibrating stimulation.
Does it say the
it
vehicle
doesn't
model,
say
make and
no.
model?
Like, it's probably like some Hyundai or some shit.
See,
Like,
but that's a shame. You should really be,
like a Ford Pinto. Or like.
So is there sexual preference then for cars if you're gonna stick your dick in a car?
Dude, if I'm gonna rub up on a car, it's gonna be a Porsche or like a Ferrari or something.
Absolutely.
Like, although I do have to say that at the concert the other night, leaned up, like, dude, Chrissy told me to do this. She's gonna kill me.
What concert?
At where was I? I was at Slipknot.
Slipknot Slayer?
Slipknot Slayer with a migraine. Like,
Oh,
I was
ouch.
like, no.
Yeah.
Like, halfway through Slipknot, I got a migraine. I was like,
Oh, that's
me.
a shame.
But anyway, like, we went up to the bar to get a drink, and Chrissy's like, here, Jenny, lean on the bar. I was like, wait, why? She's like, just lean on it. Don't worry about it. Don't touch it. So, like, I leaned on it, and I was like, oh my god. Like, that's like horrible. It was great, actually. It really wasn't that horrible. So here's me and 2 other chicks, like, leaning on the bar. Like,
God.
so is that the same as, like, fucking a car in a parking lot?
I wouldn't say the same.
I mean, it was Slayer, dude.
Yeah.
Like, Slayer puts off some good vibes.
Absolutely.
So yeah, at Slayer concerts, there's vibrating bars. But probably only at Comfort Dental
You get more than a
Amphitheater.
good show.
Right? You get a good show, a good finish. It's all good. It's great times. I'm really glad I got to go. I'm glad my friend had an extra ticket.
Oh man, lucky.
It was raining.
Oh no.
Oh dude, it poured.
Where was it at?
It was at Fiddler's Green, so Comfort Dental Amphitheater.
Yeah.
But dude, it was awesome. Like, we get a good few minutes into Slipknot, and all of a sudden, like, somebody's like, it's snowing. I'm like, that's not snow, you jackass. Like, the lights were shining on it, so like you could see like just white sparkles coming down. It looked like glitter. Like, it looked like I may have been at like a Katy Perry like concert. Like, it's all sparkly. And then all of a sudden I realized I'm getting really wet. Like, and not in a good way. Like, it's just drenched.
Until she went to the bar.
Right, until I went to the bar, and then it was a good way, and, you know. But yeah, like, we had seats, but the seats were pointless because they were soaked. I was wearing a skirt. Somebody told me to bring a sweatshirt, and I brought it. And left it in the car. I was like, awesome. I was really glad that I didn't have it at the beginning because it was really hot. But then it rained.
Did it rain all the way through?
It rained through probably like the last half hour. So like the end of the whole Slipknot set. Like the whole reason we were all there.
Yeah.
But it was great. Like, it made my head feel better because it was nice and cold and wet.
Obviously.
I got home and like just stripped down because I was just soaked when I got home. Like, it was a crazy awkward night. My ride got lost, and thankfully like I was really close partying with some friends of mine, so I was able to catch a ride home and like wait for my ride to bring me my purse so I could open the shop in the morning because my keys were in her car.
Oh,
it's great. Great
Love those
times.
nights.
All right, everyone, we are gonna cut to commercials so we can pay some bills here, and then we will be back with some zombie news, and then we will bring the cocksmith in.
Are you a medical marijuana patient or interested in finding out how to become one? Contact Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. Conveniently located on Hamden and Tamarack in the Whole Foods parking lot behind Proof of the Pudding. Mile High Wellness offers a wide variety of edibles, hashes, and some of Colorado's top strains. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. 3525 South Tamarack, Suite 110, on the corner of Hamden and Tamarack. 720-382-8516. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern.
Hi, Josh Stanley here from National Geographic's American Weed. I'm here with my brothers, and we've just recently put together a foundation in Colorado to allow for cancer patients and other patients of debilitating conditions to be able to get a hold of cannabis-based oil that's just about free of charge. I've just about had it with seeing sick patients suffer needlessly just because they can't afford the proper medication. That's what the Realm of Caring is going to change. Visit therealmofcaring.com. The website will be complete and up on 4/20 of 2012. But until then, please contact any of us Stanley Brothers directly through email. You can get us at gratefuljosh@hotmail.com. Now come on, Colorado. We need to take care of each other. Join the Realm. That's realmofcaring.com. Thank you so much.
Let's face it, rules and regulations are complicated, especially in the field of medical marijuana. Let Medical Marijuana 101 help you get through the compliance process. We can also explain to you your employment requirements, your employees, and your business. But our work doesn't stop there. Our experience in cultivation ranges from the design of grow rooms to the diagnosis and resolution of grow problems. Visit us at www.medicalmarijuana101.com or call 303-388-7706. That's 303-388-7706.
The clinic is proud to announce the 3rd annual Clinic Charity Classic Golf Tournament benefiting the Colorado MS Society. The tournament will be held at City Park Golf Course this coming August 11th. There will be some incredible prizes, including an opportunity to win a trip for 2 to Hawaii. The trip includes airfare, 8 days, 7 nights at the Ritz-Carlton Kapalua, including 4 rounds of golf and $1,500 spending cash. Thanks to the incredible support of Weed Maps, Hetty Glass, Rocky Mountain Hydro, T. Meyer & Stitch, Dixie Elixir, and MMJPrinting.com, we're able to provide awareness to this incredibly difficult condition that so many Coloradans are suffering from. The event will be covered extensively by our favorite industry media outlets, Culture Magazine, The Hemp Connoisseur, Kush Magazine, and of course the amazing people at iCannabis Radio. Please register at thecliniccolorado.com or at any of our 6 convenient locations throughout the Denver metro area.
The law offices of Edson, Maiden, and Matz provide criminal defense, medical marijuana defense, and advice about setting up and running medical marijuana centers, optional premises cultivation operations, and infused product manufacturing businesses throughout Colorado. With offices in Denver and Aspen, we can offer assistance throughout the entire state of Colorado. Give us a call at 303-831-8188. That's 303-831-8188. Or visit us online at warrenedson.com.
Get higher, baby. Get higher, girl.
Welcome back, everyone. So, oh yeah.
What's he do? Just say bass or freeze. What a tip. Yeah.
Welcome back to Sex Pot Radio, everyone. Jenny does not know what the fuck she's doing tonight, but it's all good, because whatever.
It's zombie news.
Do some dabs at 7:10. Forget what just happened. So, in the news,
what's in the zombie news?
A growing number of stores across the nation are stocking their shelves with unusual items. Zombie bullets.
That's not very unusual, is it?
Well,
What's so unusual about them?
they're actually marketing them as zombie bullets.
Does it specify why this said bullet is better for zombie killing than, say, I don't know, another shell?
You know, it really doesn't. Like, they just are marketing the Zombie Max proven Z-Max bullets.
Proven?
They're proven to be zombie bullets.
Now, how could they be proven? I mean, there are a lot of mindless zombies out there. I mean, if you were to start kicking open doors and plugging people while they're sitting on their couches
all over the place, eating face. So they are available in many different calibers. So, like, you have your 9mm, your 45s, they're bullets in an awesome package. Like, they straight up have like zombie just in case Max on the package. Like, there's zombie pictures on it. They're great.
I mean, all in all, it's kind of just a good idea, really.
Yeah, like, you should totally stock your shelves at home with some zombie bullets and some Max.
I mean, people simply buy it just on that alone. Which
Right.
I mean, good for them.
Now, are they shiny? Silver? I mean, can you shoot a werewolf with them? I mean,
Like, for real, they look like regular bullets.
well, they are regular
They're
bullets.
totally regular bullets.
It's not like they got some spices
They just put
in
them in
extra
some-
Colonel recipe fucking bullet mix spices and shit.
Right?
None of that, I'm sure.
They're
It's
just in
not
an awesome package.
formulated gunpowder
which,
for zombie killing.
honestly, even I want to buy a bunch.
See,
And not because,
it's
like,
packaging.
not because I don't know how to reload shells and couldn't just make my own, but because I got an awesome package. Maybe I should just make my own and start selling them. I don't know. Jenny Kush zombie bullets laced with Axe.
See, now that's more worth fucking paying for.
So, Turtle, just so you know, like, we decided last week that Axe body spray for men may possibly be zombie repellent because of the nasty chemical taste that it gives you when you walk by a dude that sprayed himself down with it. I believe that zombies don't like that taste. I was asked why I believe that, and I told everyone because I said so. So everyone got a mom answer. So Axe body spray, dual purpose, looking for hookers and...
So you think the chocolate will keep them away? Because I really am partial to that flavor.
Maybe.
No.
Maybe.
Yeah, there really is.
There's chocolate
That's
ash.
right, man. It smells just like cordials, you know.
Wow,
bite
really?
into that thing with cream and
They have
cherries
every
in the
flavor,
morning.
literally.
Everybody loves a cherry cordial.
Oh yeah, for sure, but I don't think my man to smell like it.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I don't want him to smell like I want to eat him. Because I might do some bath salts and then I might have to eat somebody.
Bath salts are cheaper than X. I mean,
right? I don't know. I think I'd rather do X. I haven't heard of anyone doing X and eating someone's face off.
you know, it's funny you bring up those bath salts because I was at a bar and down in Clearwater, Florida, just like 4 weeks ago, and these two hippies came up and they're like, "Hey, man, you know, I want to buy some X." And I'm like,
Wow.
I'm at a bar. You know,
Right?
I'm at a bar with mermaids as the theme. No, I'm going to pass. You know? And this guy was like, I'll buy some. You know, and so I left and went to this other bar, and I came back, and my buddy's like, dude, you should have been here. It was great, man. They found your buddy out behind the bar foaming at the mouth, but he was smiling. I was
my
like,
God.
really? And he's like, yeah, and he kept just rattling on about how good the bath salts were.
Oh my lord! Oh, why people? So I was at this concert the other night, and I also found some mystery bathroom drugs. And I still don't know what they are. Like, I'm not gonna do them. Like, but it was a small hash container, and it had a white substance that looked really white, but could have been hash consistency, but smelled like chlorine. Like, I don't know, like, what the fuck that shit was.
Yeah.
But I stuck it in my boot and brought it home. Like, I'm gonna take this home, like, see what the hell it is.
Science project.
I think it's trash. Like, it could make you eat somebody. I don't know. I don't know what it is. But, you know.
Well, it's not going to be done, just to put that out there.
No, it's not gonna be done.
Just run a few various tests on it to see what the fuck it might be.
The sniff test was enough for me. I'm like, it smells like pool chlorine. I don't think I want this. I don't think this will help me
People,
with anything.
so today's public service announcement, because there's always a sweet one every week, is to label your drugs.
And do not do bathroom drugs.
Don't do bathroom
If
drugs.
you just
and
find
label
random
your drugs.
If you find random drugs on the floor of a bathroom that has overflowed toilets and stuff, don't do them.
Well, if you're going to a concert, it would just be really considerate, because sometimes you lose your shit. I mean, it just happens. So if you label your drugs, somebody that finds it won't just let it go to waste. I mean,
I thoroughly agree.
Right?
When I was at Bonnaroo, I went into the porta potty, and right on the fucking top of this huge pile of shit was a quarter-pounder nugget. And I could not believe it, man. I was so fucking excited. I whipped open the door and I yelled at everybody. I'm like, man, check this out. Dude, people are not scared of shit.
Right?
You know, and everybody's proclaiming, look, it's true shit weed. Dude, they picked that fucking pile clean. It was the most amazing thing I'd ever seen. But the bag was labeled. And I thought that was just so cool. On the bag, it said, a quarter pound of pot. in black marker. It was just beautiful, man. So I had to thank the guy. That way I knew exactly what it was, because half of it was covered with shit.
Oh my God.
Just use a used enema and rinse that shit off.
Weed smells like shit, but it gets you really fucking high, man. And the hepatitis is free. Doesn't cost a dime.
Were there mushrooms growing under it?
No, but I bet you could have sold those at Bonnaroo too.
Right? No kidding, right?
They were selling everything.
See, hepatitis-free mushrooms, hopefully. Did we already get the zombie story?
We
Did I
were
miss it?
there. So anyway, zombie story, eating things that shouldn't be eaten and things that are in shit and whatever. There was a third incident in Louisiana now where this gentleman named Carl, who's 43, bit off a chunk of his victim's face. Miami police have issued a warning about Cloud 9, which is a bath salt that's sold everywhere, and told their officers to exercise extreme caution when dealing with homeless men who appear to be acting unusually. Police investigating the case of Rudy, who ate the face off of a homeless man in Florida, say as well as being naked, he was also carrying a Bible. Why do people that act crazy always bring a Bible with them?
I'm telling you, it's insane.
That's the answer,
All
right?
the crazy
Some of the pages have been ripped out of the book and were found close by, according to CBS Miami. A preliminary toxicology examination has also found that the 31-year-old had smoked cannabis shortly before the incident, but they found that he had purchased this Cloud 9 bath salt. So, bath salts, people. Bath salts are bad. Marijuana not.
Does everybody know cannabis is safer than bath salts?
Cannabis is safer than a lot of things.
Pretty much everything. Safest substance, like.
Right. And let's see.
Or just.
They actually arrested a 21-year-old man and put him in a Hannibal Lecter style mask after arresting him in North Miami. So this was another man in Miami. He repeatedly slammed his head against the plexiglass divider in the police car and was shouting at the officers, "I'm going to eat you." He then growled, gnashed his teeth, and tried to bite off the hand of the officer that was attempting to treat his head wounds from beating his head on the plexiglass. He continued to growl and open and close his mouth, slamming his teeth like a wild animal.
So maybe he was just retarded.
Maybe he just wanted to eat some face.
Copycat.
Yeah.
Maybe. During the attack, he bit a chunk off of a victim's face. Stop eating people.
I'm seeing it's all kind of the same. Everybody's biting face.
Yeah, they all want face.
Yeah, but see, Mike Tyson.
Nobody wants ass. They all want face.
Fuck no, I'm not gonna bite somebody's ass.
Mike Tyson was chewing on ears long before all this shit. I mean,
Right.
nobody was saying zombie. People were just saying you suck at boxing.
Nobody was like, he did some bath salts and now he's eating ears. Like, but I
can't
don't know.
believe
Like,
this is the cause of the zombie apocalypse. This is gonna be it. This is gonna
some
be where
crazy,
it all
stupid
starts.
drug that people shouldn't be doing.
That's prohibition.
Why
for
is
you.
it still being sold exactly?
Because
Bed
it's
Bath and
bath
Beyond
salts.
are
Because people
huge.
want it. People want to get high, and they keep busting the people, the chemists, all the people that know how to make the bomb drugs. So they throw all those people in jail. So then they get the people that can make mediocre drugs.
Well, and that's the unfortunate thing, is that most of the people that are doing these are people that are usually on probation or parole or something like that, and they have to go piss in a cup every week or whenever the hell their color comes up. Purple. Anyway, and so like these people turn to other things, like people that can't smoke weed, they're turning to spice. So, and it's not always being called spice, like they're formulating it different all the time because they're learning how to test for these things. So they're spraying crappy potpourri with a nasty adhesive, and then they're spraying it with multiple other chemicals, so people are smoking it because they might feel a little bit high. This shit is rotting your insides. Like, it rots your teeth, it screws with your brain, it screws with your body. Like, the side effects, I've seen so many people come in looking for spice, for black mamba, or whatever the hell they want to call it, and like, you can tell they're coming off of it. You don't see this with people that are smoking cannabis. These people are coming in, they're shaking, they're desperate for it, and I have to tell them, hey, it's illegal. Like, this is more illegal than the stuff that you can't have. Like, and it's more toxic to you. And then people are coming in for because they can't do meth because they can be tested for it. They're coming in and they're asking for plant food, which we didn't know was what this shit was. And like, we were sending them to the grocery store, and we're like, yeah, like down at the grocery store, man. But they call it plant food, they call it glass cleaner, they call it bath salts. Some of them just call it energy. Like, they're like, hey, you got any energy? And like, you can see it, like, it's literally worse than meth. Like, their teeth are rotting out within like weeks. It's insane, and it's sad. It's really sad to see it, and I see it a lot in the community where I work, you know, because there's just so many people down there, and a lot of them are homeless and stuff, or have very little money. They live in the motel across the street, and they're like completely freaking desperate, and it's so sad. Just let people do the better drugs. No, I'm not saying that meth is a better drug, but meth was originally formulated in a pharmaceutical environment.
I don't don't know. There's a lot of stories about that.
Amphetamines, they were
Hitler
given.
had a lot to do with
right,
its
right, right.
creation.
Yes, he did.
Housewives back in the day used to do it just so that they would have more energy to do their housework and stuff. They would go to the doctor and they would be prescribed amphetamines, which is basically meth.
Well, you can find old bottles that say heroin on them.
Right.
Like Bayer used to manufacture heroin.
Right.
So.
Which is really crazy because, okay, so oh shoot, what is the name of the drug? Anyway, methamphetamine is meth. But yet they give kids stuff labeled as dextroamphetamine, like all these other drugs like Ritalin. And I'm like, really? Amphetamines? Like, basically you're giving your kid meth.
Yeah. Adderall. I mean, it's horrible.
And, you know, it's terrible if you could, like, slip your kid a little cannabis candy in the morning and, like,
Right.
have them have a good, awesome, focused day. But no, they restrict these drugs that are proven to help people, give them bad drugs, and then we have people eating face. So
But you gotta wonder what face tastes like, because everybody's eating it.
I've eaten several things, and I don't want to know what face tastes like.
It's your own preference.
Right? my grandma used to make head cheese back in the day, and like I wouldn't eat it because it had a face. I was like, that is a pig face. That is gross. I'm not eating it.
I like head cheese too. Yummy.
And they used to like cook up cow tongue and stuff. I'm like, can it taste me?
Do you know how kick-ass tongue is when it's made right? It's like
I'm sure it's
like
great.
the bonus bologna.
Right?
I'm not even joking. You can hang it out the pot while it's cooking, and people walk by and are like, "That's just fucking wrong." And it's like when they're eating it, it's like, "Yeah, that's that wrong." Isn't it good?
Like I can't imagine being like. Eat it, Grandma. Don't make me eat it. So anyway, we're gonna move on.
Those are the nights I definitely go to bed without dinner.
Right? No kidding. Like I skipped spending the night at a friend's house one time because I found out that they were having oatmeal the next morning. I found out recently, like a couple weeks ago, that oatmeal's not that bad. I avoided it my whole life. Oh, I love cream of wheat. I love cream of wheat, but I avoided oatmeal my whole life. And I was really hungry at work one day, and there just happened to be a little bowl of microwavable oatmeal. I'm like, eat it or starve, eat it or starve. I ate it. It was great. Yeah, I love oatmeal. Learn something new every day. All right, we are going to move on to Turtle here. So, Turtle, tell the people out there what it is that you do.
I blow cock. No, really. I'm a glass dildo manufacturer, and I love it. everybody made pipes to start, and I just found that it was so much easier to take a different genre in the middle of the glass explosion, because people were buying anything glass.
Right.
And you know, amazingly, we purchased a lathe and thought we were going to tour around and make these water pipes and just make $1 billion and pay off our property. You know, it's not. It doesn't work that way. But when you make a buttload of cock and fucking throw it in your trunk and hit up shows like the Kinky Carnival, you know,
Right?
you'd be surprised that 3,000 people come to actually buy a glass cock.
Dude, I'm a
So when
big
you show up with
supporter.
100, you know,
Right?
it's like, and then